Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
What's happening, Mike? Happy New Year!
Happy New Year out there to everybody in listener world, and excited to be here with you guys. We got a special guest today as well. And before I get going, though, I want to apologize for missing last week. I came down with like the worst flu ever, and we had promised you guys we were going to do a year in recap show last week, and we blew it off. So sorry about that. But anyways, we are here with Josiah Roe, who has been on this podcast before. Trying to remember when. I don't know. Probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's
2
been
years ago. Yeah. Pacific Northwest.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. And he is our resident. I feel like we should have brought on. Well, we'll get to the politics later, but I call him our resident guy hanging on the left. We should have found somebody with a MAGA hat for today's episode, but I couldn't find anybody because we're in Baja after all. And by the way, just want to mention Josiah is here in town with me here.
So, I am. I'm over at Shaka's in Cerritos. We got the little Cerritos served time having a chelada, which they like to drink their beers with ice, lime juice, and salt, which is a revelation. I highly encourage that as a means of hydration south of the border.
Josiah, before we get started, I would love for you to just briefly let people know about what you do, why they should know who you are. Let it rip.
I'm the editor-in-chief of a magazine called the Journal of Lost Time. It's a travel publication that encourages sort of deeper, more immersive travel experiences, not just sort of like surface week trips, but really kind of getting in the weeds and getting to know the people, places, culture, rhythms, flora, fauna, geological histories of places. And there's a sort of a natural overlap there with overlanding and kind of long distance travel and van life, which is something that I did for a long time. And now I'm the creative director and kind of engagement manager for a company called Baja Bound, which
wait.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Mike, every time we get a guest, they get all humble and shit on us. The magazine that this gentleman has some of the most beautiful photography I have ever seen in my life. The storytelling goes from just great storytelling to some of the. It's a great magazine, and you talking all technical and stuff. If you're a traveler and a nomad, this is going to titillate your ears, your eyes from reading it and from looking at the visuals in it. It's not just another magazine. Go ahead.
Yeah, we really want you to go to places and spend some time with yourself and to be curious and open and interested in the little nuances of what gives a place its culture and personality and makes it a unique and wonderful place to visit. And it's how I like to travel. It's how our team, both formal and informal, of storytellers and photographers and videographers, how we like to travel. We don't.
Tell them, Josiah, for everybody out there listening, how they can follow you guys or see the magazine.
Yeah.
We've got our website at thejournaloflosttime.com, or if that's a really long URL, it is. You can just do TJOLT.com, TJolt. We're on Instagram, pretty much all of the channels. We got a really nice email newsletter where we put out every couple of weeks with updated stories. And sometimes we just link to other magazines or websites that we feel like does storytelling that is aligned with our values for traveling. That's the primary way. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do, but our email newsletter has become a really lovely place to go and sort of. We aim for like what I call like the Sunday morning reader who wants to sit there with their coffee on a Sunday morning, where in the past they might open the New York Times, or in Mike's case, the Washington Post, or whatever sort of.
I absolutely agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I agree with that Sunday thing.
You started talking about you're doing a different kind of gig right now too, right?
Yeah. So I've been coming, and this is in a lot of ways how you and I overlapped, Mike, and got to know each other. Is I've been coming down to Baja for 12 years, and a lot of my early storytelling projects in photo and video was just because of how much I fell in love with this place and the people here and the community here and land and the wildlife. It's just really wonderful. Baja Bound, which anyone who comes to Baja is required to get an insurance policy on their vehicle that's underwritten by a Mexican insurance company. And so Baja Bound's like kind of the biggest 31 years around brokerage for that insurance. And so they sponsored a lot of my early projects, a big van life event I did down here for 6 years. And so I recently kind of took a position as their, I still got things happening with the magazine. There's a lot of overlap there. But I've been sort of helping oversee the evolution of their brand and their partnerships to sort of be a big promoter of deep immersive travel to the peninsula. And just really being of service to the people who come down here. It's a company, it's not a big one, it's only it's less than 30 employees, but it's all people who really love it here and are really passionate about it. And they've got their corners of the peninsula they really care about, and just are really down to helping travelers and people who live here be safe and navigate confusing things like when they get in fender benders, which is a very different process than ours in the United States. So, I've been kind of overseeing that. We've got now a team of video editors and storytellers. We're about to relaunch the bulletin and working on a print journal and just becoming a lovely resource for people who are traveling and living down here, like Mike and myself and others. We've been helping, Mike and I, we've collaborated on a bunch of stuff down there. So, so I've been doing that in the last few months. I'm down here right now on a little bit of a road tour around the peninsula, meeting with a lot of different hotels and tour providers and campgrounds and several people in various government organizations who kind of oversee overlanders and travelers who come down here, and just making sure we're doing a good job as one of the largest platforms for distributing information about traveling down here. And like, there's a lot of misinformation that gets floated around about things like what kind of permitting you need, what sort of insurance you need, a registration, and what does it mean to be a permanent resident versus a temporary resident versus down here on a tourist visa versus down here on a working visa. So there's a lot of like nuances, and we try to be really responsible in the way we communicate that information, because in a lot of ways people kind of turn to us. There's a couple of news sources in Baja, like DCS Noticias and a couple others, but in a lot of ways it's kind of on us and a couple other places to really have the relationships with people in positions of authority in the government to really figure out what the rules are. And we even do things like, for example, the west side of San Ysidro at the major crossing in between the U.S. and Mexico at Tijuana, which is the busiest border crossing in the world. They just turned Tijuana West into just a global entry only crossing. And so we went in there and we filmed it and we recorded it, and we worked with the government there to do all that, to create videos and information, because you search it and ours is the first thing that comes up. So sort of helping with that sort of thing, while at the same time deepening our relationships across the peninsula with right on down to things like conservationists who are free divers with humpback whales and getting beautiful imagery and population updates on how the whales are doing this year and have they migrated down earlier versus later. It's a really fun thing for me to do about a part of the world that I was already very much in love with. So that's what I'm doing down here now. And it was, of course, great to do New Year's Eve with friends like Mike and Bart and the rest, and Brenda's birthday. But so it's cool. I love that you're wearing the score hat, man. That's awesome.
That's right.
Very happy that you did the 1,000, man. You're an animal. I've never done anything
I'm
like
happy
that.
I did it, but man, I'll tell you what, I was as we've talked about on the podcast, it's gnarly.
Well, it blew my mind. I was like, Mike, man, I hope I'm doing shit like that in 10 years.
If anybody's interested in anything that Josiah has mentioned, I will make sure wherever you're listening to this podcast that there are links below.
Yep.
So, Josiah, you've agreed that you're going to just jump in where you fit in, right?
Yeah, Mike's kind of was like jumping to the deep end of the pool, and I was like, well, let me get a shot of mezcal and a michelada in me, and I'm waiting for the waiter to cruise back around so I can get that mezcal. But it's a beautiful day here in Baja. Blue skies, blue water.
As always.
76 degrees in Magic right now.
So let's get started, guys. The first question, and we're going to include you in on this because I'm confident you've been there yourself. Mike, I told you that we received a very short note from a listener who opened with love the podcast and then hit us with a rapid fire list of questions for both of us. And they simply asked, have you been to New York City?
Mm-hmm.
Have you eaten at Katz Deli? Pastrami or corned beef? Mustard? And who actually has the best pastrami sandwich in New York? So let's get started. Mike, have you been to New York?
Well, obviously, I grew up in Connecticut, so New York was my backyard, and I've spent much time in New York City. I obviously have been to Katz Deli. I personally am a pastrami guy, and I don't like mustard. So I'm not.
You don't like mustard?
I don't like mustard. I'm
Oh
like
my
I'm
gosh.
like one of those. So I call myself an easy traveler. You know how when you're on the road and you got a little
Mhm.
refrigerator and shit, I don't have to carry any condiments because I like my stuff plain. So, with the exception of like salsas and stuff, down here or whatever, I don't count that. But I'm not a ketchup, mustard, mayo guy.
Okay.
There are no exceptions, like on a hot dog or something. Okay.
I'll put ketchup on fries.
All right.
That's
So,
interesting.
Josiah, have you ever been to New York City? Have you been
Of
to
course.
Katz?
I mean, I've done Cats. I've done, oh gosh, this was a long time ago. So I did a little bit of an aggressive, I'm going to hit a bunch of different pastrami places with my OCD completionist ADHD thing. And again, like you throw me into the deep end of the pool. If I remember correctly, the name of the place was near Madison Square Park. S&P, I think was the name
Carnegie,
of it. And
2nd Avenue.
no, it was on 5th, if I'm remembering correctly. It was right
by the Garden.
Yeah, it was right by it was by the Flatiron Building.
Okay.
So it was by the park. There's if I remember correctly, Madison Square Park. There's the Flatiron Building. There's I think it's called S&P. And I did Katz. Katz was amazing. But I liked S&P because they had a slightly different approach to the rye, slightly more. I think they've been open since the 20s. I'd have to look this up.
I think
where's
longer than that.
Yeah, they've been around. I gotta look this up. Good question.
Phil, there's another one too I want to mention, and I can't remember the name, but maybe you'll know. Next to Yankee Stadium, it's like maybe 2 blocks away from Yankee Stadium, sort of around the corner. I mean, obviously, all these delis are like they come out with the gigantic sandwich, but this
Court
place
Deli. You're talking about Court Deli, man.
Yes,
it's got to be right. Yeah. That place is legend. I went there with my dad.
Yes.
My first time to Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
Oh man, dude, you're bringing back memories, Mike.
There you go. See.
Let me see this. Oh, S&P was opened in 1929. That's right, by the Flatiron. It was good.
So, pastrami or corned beef?
I mean, do I have to choose? I mean, the Irish side of my family is gonna slap me upside the head if I don't say corned beef. And friends of mine who take money from APAC are going to be mad if I don't say pastrami.
That's right.
I love them both. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to pick just one. It's one of the perks of being an American.
So is Katz your number one in New York?
As overall deli, I'd say yes, but the pastrami I had at S&P, I preferred it. I enjoyed it a little bit better.
I mean, Katz is legendary. Let's just put it that way. So
yeah, it's an institution.
I got nothing bad to say about that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what's nice about if you have not been to New York City, it sounds like I don't know if this listener has been to New York City or not. I'm not sure, but if you for those out there that have not been to New York City, you're definitely missing out. They're not lying when they say you can find anything in New York City and anything in droves. So there's no shortage of fantastic delis in New York City.
Yeah. Katz is special. Katz is special.
I lived in New York. I've been to all of the different places. I've been to Katz. if a person's never been to New York, I would tell them go to Katz.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
knock it off your list.
Yeah.
But it is not my favorite deli. First of all, I'm not a thick cut guy, and they cut it too thick.
Yeah.
I'm a pastrami queen guy. And I'm only a pastrami queen guy because the place that I used to like no longer exists, which was the Carnegie. That was my favorite because after different Broadway shows, you'd be shocked at some of the people that would come in there at night. I mean, like famous people, or maybe they weren't famous at the time, but later on, you're like, wow, I sat and ate next to him. So pastrami queen, and it used to be Carnegie's.
Yeah, rest in peace, Carnegie's, because that was a great place, man.
I never got to go there.
Oh, great place.
As of January,
I'm getting hungry. You know, Phil. You know what this reminds me of? Remember the time you and I went to? So this is how we talk about the ADD or whatever, Josiah. Phil and I went to Philadelphia one time and went around to all the steak and cheese places.
Did you really?
Famous ones, yeah, just for the hell of it.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great.
We picked which was the best.
Right. Yeah.
That's
a true story. I had my huge truck, and you know how the streets are in Philly there, right? I had my big truck.
Which gen? Which is
not,
V1, V2, V3?
Oh, yeah, the last one. Not the current one. Tell Phil what happened. Tell him what happened.
You're crazy. You drove that into like tiny little downtown Philly?
Oh my God, what happened? Dude.
Not only did he drive into it, I literally what the word literally means. He literally almost destroyed Gino's and I mean literally almost destroyed the place.
I hit the side of the building when I was turning the truck around, and the back. Remember my bicycle rack on the back clipped the side of the building and the sign.
Did you? I mean, my God, I hope your insurance covered that. Did they come after you?
They were crazy. They were cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
Bunch of crazy Philadelphians.
They were just like, yeah, that's a cool truck.
Telephone pole? Did you burn a couch?
No, but Phil and I had to pull over right after that when it started raining, and we tried to get the bike rack all sorted out back on the truck. Remember the bike was falling off the back of the truck?
What were you doing in Philly with the big rig? Just driving cross country and decided to like do a little detour?
Where were we going?
We were coming down the we were actually, we made a detour off of the Skyline and remember Skyline Drive, and then we were going to go down and do the I think we were going down.
We actually went to more than one place. We went to Overland Expo in Arrington, and we went to
that would make sense.
Yeah, I forgot.
Crazy. I can't believe you drove your rig in there, man. That's gutsy. You're a madman.
It was gutsy.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is crazy. I was reading that Americans hear a British accent and instantly think smarter, more trustworthy, more high quality, and in one ad study, the exact same commercial scored higher when voiced by a British narrator, even though viewers remembered less of the brand because they were paying attention to the accent. And in call center experiments, a British voice was rated more competent than an American one. So why does that accent create instant credibility even when the message is identical? Josiah?
Well, I think there's several reasons why specifically the English accent indicates to us, even though it's an illusion, it's not real. There is absolutely it's been a while since I fell down the rabbit hole on this. There's no evidence to indicate that anyone with an English accent is any smarter than anyone with, I think they used as a compare and contrast. And I realize I'm now exposing myself to getting flamed, like why we might look down our noses from people who might have a Southern accent or an Appalachian accent or something like that. There's absolutely no statistical data to merit thinking that somebody with that accent is any smarter or not. But I think because in a specific white Anglo-Saxon privileged category, there's a little bit of that like hoity-toity hangover we have. affection for the landed gentry. I do find it very funny how much
you're talking about Queen's English, obviously, because I mean, if you listen to along the lines that you're saying, Josiah, if you listen to an accent from like Birmingham, oh my God, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you.
But we also can sense a little bit of the distinction in the accents in England because we're a little bit nerdier than perhaps the average American. I do find it funny when I go back to visit my parents, the certain kind of like almost fetishization of Englishness with English TV shows, thinking they're somehow more intelligent than they might be. And I watch it and I'm like, that's just a bunch of fart jokes like anywhere else, you know. But also I think it's a little bit of like the interesting point that I read was because for a lot of white Americans, our connection to what was in fact incredibly impoverished immigrants that came over, whether it was Irish during the potato famine, Germans during all of the, the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, all the crazy things that led to what was for the longest time Germans being the largest immigrant group to the United States. That's why you can still find towns in places like in West Texas, Johnson City and the rest where they still speak a really interesting version of German. We are kind of like cut off from our cultural history. And we have this thing that we call white, which is really just a mashup of all sorts of different things. It's a way to sort of like feel a connection to the past that might not actually be there from an actual experiential standpoint. Like I don't have any actual like English ancestors. They're all sort of a hodgepodge of German and Irish and other things. But also I think because the British were the most powerful empire maybe in the history of mankind up until World War II. What is it, 1/5 of the planet, and the sun never sets. There's a little bit of that like natural human instinct to kind of like have affection for the most powerful, the biggest, and the strongest. So I think there's a little bit of that thing. It's a way to like find meaning and identity, and plus it's the similar language. Like it's not like we can't pick up a C.S. Lewis book or whomever, Graham Greene and the rest, and understand what we're writing about. Anyway, this is getting down the rabbit hole.
I think it's because we like the way it sounds.
Yeah, we just kind of do.
I mean,
yeah, it sounds really cool. I think so. Anyway, so I'm rambling.
Hollywood.
Where's that mezcal?
Hollywood keeps casting foreign actors to play iconic Americans, presidents, pioneers, legends, while many other countries reserve their national heroes for homegrown talent. Guys, why does the U.S. seem uniquely comfortable outsourcing its own historical icons? Mike?
Well, for one, I've noticed, so you mentioned that because there's a lot of British actors that are in American TV shows that are they're better at losing their accents, for one. They're in the shows, and that you would never know they were British based on their voice, because they've learned how to speak, quote, American. So I think that's one of the reasons.
One of the things I read from a friend that was a producer and a casting agent for one of the smaller studios in LA was that British just have far more exposure to the American accent than Americans to the British accent, because so much of the media that they consume,
that's a good point,
it comes out of Hollywood and New York City and the stuff like that. So they're just, from a far younger age, far more comfortable speaking in what's I forget what it's called, and it's like the neutral American accent.
You notice that worldwide too, by the way. Most countries that I've traveled to worldwide that are neither American or British tend to picture or listen to accents. Their English is American, not British.
So this appears to be a white-black thing, because when black actors come and do it, a black American can easily distinguish between the two. They do not get all of the nuances of our cadence, our inflection, anything, body language, nothing. So I can't argue it about the other one, because I don't have that perspective you guys have. But from people that, from the black side, they stick out like a sore thumb.
So you're saying, like, I don't know if you ever watched the show Billions or whatever, the redheaded guy that make it. So I don't hear the British in him at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Say you do.
Interesting.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
okay.
that the black actors, I can distinguish. So maybe it's because you're white. I don't know. But with black actors, when they have a black person from Europe come here and act.
Yep.
I can clock him like very easily.
I see what you're saying.
And
interesting.
Most black people can. That is a big issue that we have. We like, why did you pick him? And he's not giving us what we want.
Right. He's not doing a justice to the American.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
And a lot of times,
I'd also go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, and a lot of time with the shows that they do have like a star that's black, he's usually portraying somebody he's not like a black president. He's not playing a black business owner. He's playing like a gangbanger or a middle class person, where I feel like it takes even another level of nuance to understand that character. So there's a big breach in between their performance and the acceptance of the people that they're portraying as far as black people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You never know what we're going to talk about here on the podcast.
I'd love to know the numbers, like what percentage of, like how that shakes down.
Percentage of what?
Like the percent. I mean, obviously there's like SAG membership. That's like the union for Hollywood. Like what percentage of those, I don't know, like what percentage of major Hollywood films in the last 20 years were like roles were filled by English actors? Obviously we can think of everyone from
a lot.
Benedict Cumberbatch to Tom Holland.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There are a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot. But then you've also got a lot of Irish, from like Liam Neeson to.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's
it's so prevalent.
Killian Murphy, sorry.
It's
who won Best Actor last year.
It's so prevalent that there are people who I was confident was an American because they've been making American films and living here for 20, 30 years. And then I discover, oh no, I'm from Orkney or what?
Yeah.
Well, I do know that like it tends to be the case that generally speaking, Irish and English primary and secondary schools, including into university, have more robust or consistently robust theater and acting programs. That's something we're always fighting for in the United States because of our incredibly fragmented and upside down education system. It can be real hit or miss. And it tends to be a little bit more of the American mythological thing of I'm going to pack all my bags into a car, drive to Los Angeles, and try to figure out how to be an actor. Whereas in England, there's far more of a clear trajectory that you work through.
I would agree.
Again, that's just what I've read, and I have to do digging to try to remember where I read that. But my couple friends who are actors, they talk about that as being a facet of their education, and they didn't go to like Oxford or Cambridge or some of the bougie schools that we would think of in England. It was just kind of an option for them in elementary school and in their equivalent of high school. So.
As of January 1st, we've officially entered America's 250th anniversary year. Across the country, communities, states, and federal government are gearing up for America 250. A once-in-a-generation celebration building toward July 4th, 2026, the semi-quincentennial of the Declaration of Independence. Guys, could this become one of the rare moments that brings the country together around a shared story?
Hell no.
Phil, I mean, let's summarize here.
What
we're going to do to celebrate the 250 is we're going to make the Arc de Trump in Washington, D.C. So I don't think that's bringing the shit together.
The Arc de Trump at the Trump Kennedy Center of Trumpness.
Next to the Trump Peace Institute of
He's a clown. He's a clown. Whatever.
He's not finished. So I'm confident there's going to be some more Trump signs on some more Trump buildings before this year's out.
They just. By the way, I'm not making this up. They just approved that thing. They're about to start building it in the next couple of weeks. This arc thing.
When's he finishing the East Wing? Why the hell is that taking?
Well,
so
I just
long?
saw. It's funny. I just saw pictures today, and they started. The foundations are in, and I saw overhead pictures, drone pictures or something. So they're working on it. But to go to your point, Phil. I mean, no. That's not. No, this is.
I'm glad we're talking remotely, because when I asked the question, I felt like you guys would have slapped me if you were.
Well, no, because I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna piss somebody off here, but like,
go for it.
I think that unfortunately, I'm gonna say that I'm just using these words generically, but I'm going to use the word right and left. Okay, just it's more nuanced than that. But I'm going to tell you that the right is more excited about the America's 250th than the left.
Oh yeah,
I agree with
absolutely.
That for sure.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but here's the problem: it shouldn't be that way. Really, it shouldn't be that way. As an American. Americans should be excited about America, period. And the problem is that everybody is being forced into two buckets. And that's where the problem is. It's like, we're just Americans. We're not left or right. We should be just Americans. You know, I thought about it. I saw a post today on social media talking about Mandami getting sworn in today in New York City, and they were talking about him putting his hand on the Bible and stuff. And it brought up a good point to me. I'm like, well, why the hell do we put our hand on the Bible when we swear in politicians? Why wouldn't we put it on the Constitution? Because that, in theory, is what all of them are supposed to be upholding, right?
Why swear?
Not the Bible.
Why swear? Swear is indicative of some kind of it has some kind of religious connotation to it.
Yes.
Why have any kind of swearing or nothing? And people, we have learned, haven't we learned that people lie? People will put their hand on a Bible and lie or swear.
Hell yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. Right. It's a symbolic gesture. But that's what most of it is. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, it was George Washington, the very first president, who actually did it. And it was, I think, his idea to do it because it was English precedent to swear on the Gospels.
Right.
Like, so part of the Bible, not the entire Bible. Again, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's been 25 years since I've thought about this stuff.
I think you're
right. I think because it was just the God, because, they had subsets of it. So George Washington was like, well, let's keep the tradition alive to kind of give a little bit more like precedent. But I also think that that's right. Didn't he use like a Masonic thing too? I'd have to dig into it.
Yes. It's
been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute.
The irony of you going back so far in history is that it's heavily documented that him and just about everyone that was a leader back in that time were either atheists or didn't believe in God or believed in separation of state very strongly.
Yeah, most of them are what were called deists, where they believe that God exists, but that didn't mean it was what we would think of nowadays as like the evangelical Protestant Christian God. Certainly not the one of whatever the hell Pete Hegseth and the goofballs up there talk about God. I mean, that's definitely not what our founding fathers were talking about, and they would say as much. I mean,
okay, so let's go back to for a second.
Anyway, but back to the
why is the left not as excited?
Constitution doesn't require it. I think the reason why the left isn't as excited is that, and I think any country, any group of human beings, when they feel a sense of unity, is they're united around a shared story, which expresses a shared set of values. And I think what's really problematic right now is that you've got a whole bunch of people that you might put into the bucket of the left that goes, hey, look, the African American experience in the United States includes a story that's very, very different than you might think of as like mine, as a particular brand of not from affluence white Americans, but still benefited from certain things of being a white male, versus say a waspy folks like Mike, who came over with the land barons and the rich industrialists of the Northeast and the textiles that, me and Mike's basically part of the aristocracy of the United States. Like, it's a very different.
Of course, he's making this up,
I'm making this up. That's not actually Mike. Versus like somebody might be like Chinese American immigrants who came over and worked on the railroads, Japanese Americans who were interned in the camps in the backside of the Sierras and things like that. So the left goes, hey, there's a whole lot of different stories going on here. And we've got these people going like, no, let's just be rah, 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 America. And so one feels like being rah, 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 America invalidates what is a very different story and kind of what is fed as like a mainstream America thing. And so you end up in this situation of, unfortunately, one group of people going like, hey, look, yeah, your lived experience as an African American or a Chinese American or a Mexican American is different than mine. But what we are united as a people are these values. And what really bums me out is that I don't understand why the right can't just say that and go, you know what? I don't need to take the story of African Americans out of the school books in Florida, like whatever that freaking shoe implant 5'5" dorkwad that is the governor of Florida tries to do. Why he can't just go, yeah, that's a very true and real thing that happened. And by the way, what it means to be an American is the land of the free and the home of the brave, where every man and woman, regardless of your race, age, gender, etc., are treated equal and have equal protection under the law and can make an honest living and work hard and will be protected. Like, I just don't get why that's such a crazy thing to say. And instead we don't. Anyway,
I agree with everything
that
that you said, just as you said it. But that's the reason why we should all be united, in my opinion, because we could pick a race, we could pick different segments, and we could point out all the issues and the obstacles that have been put in front of them by the actual country that they live in. I agree with everything that you said. But after all is said and done, we could do that with every country, and we still, in my opinion, come out on top. There are people right now fighting to stay here that don't.
We would definitely come out on top for sure.
So my point is, it's like we could. I just said I agree with everything he said as he said it. So you can look at it that way, or you can look at it as, okay, after all is said and done, I'm still in the best place in the world. And
yeah, but
it would be nice to celebrate a place that's 250. After all said and done, 250 years is an extremely short time for a civilization. And in that time, the evolution of it from where it started to where it is amazing.
It is amazing. I would also point out that, like, I think right now, and I forget how many countries in the United Nations, like almost 200.
200.
I think the U.S. is older than like something like 170, 175 of the 200 countries in the United Nations. That's crazy. We're older than Germany.
Yep.
Like, wrap your head around that. Like, we think of like Germany and Italy, which they've only been around since like the 1890s, if I remember correctly. Like, sorry, I'm sure you're going to get blown up by people who are actual historians.
Look, Russia's only been around since the 1990s.
Yeah, and they need to just go away. Like, that culture should die. It's dark and weird and encourages alcoholism to a ridiculous degree.
We might actually agree on that, but
no. So, I'm not. I had a long trip planned in Russia, and I did 3 days, and I canceled it because, like, the weenie, I'm like, this is dark.
So, guys, CNBC rolled out a new logo in mid-December, dropping the CNBC rolled out a new logo in mid-December, dropping the longtime NBC peacock for a minimalist mark with an upward arrow.
Well, also MSNBC.
What the hell is that? What the hell is this logo? Right, this is the graphic designer, and me's got to weigh in on that.
I've not seen that one either, but
so after you look at it, my question to you guys is this just a design refresh, or is CNBC trying to put distance between itself and the baggage surrounding NBC and legacy news right now?
Well, by the way, that logo is better than the MSNBC one. Did you see that one?
I agree.
They changed the name to MS Now, and that logo is even worse than this. But
interesting. So apparently the CNBC,
they got bought out. They got bought out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So they're not owned by the same company. So they were not allowed to use the peacock anymore.
Basically the CNBC peacock logo can no longer be used because the current owner, NBC Universal, is spinning it and a whole bunch of other assets into a new company called Versant, which is owned by Comcast shareholders.
Yep.
Crazy.
To answer your question, Phil, they are trying to MS. Well, it used to be MSNBC, which is now MS Now, is trying to do something because it's a failure, right? I mean, it nobody listens or watches it. And if you go to the front page right now, as an example, it's so biased that, I mean, it's just so biased. You look at like the 12 articles on the front page, and it's like reading a anti-Trump magazine.
Well, what I noticed about it was,
I'm looking at it right now. What are you talking? Bernie Sanders and Ron DeSantis.
Patriot games are set to be a very dystopian spectacle.
Are you on CNBC.com or are you on MSNBC?
No, I'm on MSNBC.
Yeah, well, of course, man. They're trying to be the Fox News of the left, and that's just
they're failing, obviously, because their numbers are terrible.
So I've looked at their content since they've changed their logo, and I don't know the proper way to explain what I'm saying, but they're not trying to look like a legacy show anymore. They're trying to look like one of those shows that's on YouTube that's scaled up.
Yes.
Did that make sense?
Yes.
They're trying to look like they're trying to look like YouTubers.
Right. Well, even to the point of, I don't know if you watch, it drives me crazy, but nowadays when you watch a reporter at the White House or anything, they're standing there, they're holding their microphone in their hand, they're holding their little DJI microphone or whatever, they're the whole, exactly. So they're trying to be less professional, I guess, maybe you'd call it. I don't know.
I do think it's kind of funny that, like,
in the media room with all of the cameras and everything behind them, and they'll be sitting there for like a little short story, and they're doing exactly what you said with the little mic.
Right.
And I'm like, there's mics all around. Why are you holding this little mic?
They're also all trying to become personalities, right? So we even got, what's her name there, the one that reports with Trump all the time, the dark-haired woman with the long dark hair, forget her name. I don't even remember what network she's
with the thick
CNN,
eyebrows?
I think CNN. She's with CNN.
Does she have thick eyebrows?
Yeah, she's the one always scrapping with Trump that he just calls her all sorts of names.
But she's trying to develop her own, for lack of better terms, they all want to be social media influencers.
I mean, there's nothing but, that's the name of the game. It's getting clicks, getting engagement. It's not like you didn't get me on here because I'm so attractive and look amazing in a bikini.
No, we got you on here so we could fire up the audience.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm an assfluencer.
Right.
Well, one of the things I think is funny about the CNBC logo is that, like, they transit like this little blue wedge, which just looks like CNBC, driving a wedge.
Right. It does look that way.
It looks like, what is it, a sailboat? Like, what is?
It does.
This
look
is
like
the graphic
sailboat.
Yeah, this is the graphic designer in me, even though I'm not a visual identity designer.
Can we just agree that it's
odd?
It's terrible.
I'm wondering what typeface. I don't like that typeface. No, I'd have to spend some time with it and sit with it. But
it's not quite as bad as the new Cracker Barrel one that they had to get rid of. But I mean,
what a DOA. Yeah, it was pretty great.
So, guys,
fun to watch.
We keep hearing that America cannot afford to lose the AI race. President Trump even warned that falling behind would be an economic and national security disaster. But behind the scenes, big tech is lending money to AI startups, and those startups are spending the money right back on the big tech's chips and cloud services. It makes the AI boom look bigger than it really is. So I've got to ask, are we watching the early signs of another bubble that the public might be forced to clean up later?
Oh, man. Okay. So I feel like there's a couple different things you're talking about.
There's a couple different things here.
Now, we can talk about I'm trying to think of like a simplistic way. Like basically the AI money flow between a very small set of companies. There's sort of NVIDIA at the center, which makes the kind of microchips that power all of this AI stuff, including the big data centers and the rest. And then there's AMD, they also make some stuff too. And Intel, they make some stuff too. But then you've got like Microsoft, Oracle, XAI, OpenAI, and a couple other smaller ones. I'm forgetting their names. But basically, I think it's something like, what is it, like 1.5, almost $3 trillion is basically being loaned and borrowed between the small subset of companies and investing in each other. So like one will give one company $100 billion to then buy chips from NVIDIA, who then invests in that same company for the tune of $100 billion. So like, I'm not I'm not a savvy at all investor in the rest, but it's hard for me not to look at what feels like some sort of billionaire $300 trillion circle jerk between a small set of companies, where when you look at the actual revenue that each one of those companies is driving that is AI based, it's crazy. Like OpenAI only, I think, does something like $13 billion in revenue annually. And they're talking about spending. It's minuscule. And they're talking about spending, needing to raise $100 billion to build more data centers on the promise that this software might somehow generate revenue. Like it looks crazy to me. But again, it's one of those things where I'm not somebody with that kind of money to drop in massive. I pick very safe.
But Phil, you also asked,
funds and the rest. So,
are we going to fall behind as an America?
Yeah, that's a separate question.
World?
And the number one reason why we will not is there's two things.
I'm going to disagree here.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, remember that NVIDIA, that company I said that sits in the middle, that's worth like $4.5 trillion. Those chips are made in one place in the world, and that's in Taiwan, where they make chips that are made using machines made by a Dutch company to make these super crazy micro nanometer sort of things. It's the only place in the world where you can get them. China is anywhere from 15 to 20 years behind Taiwan in its chip manufacturing ability. They're just not there. They can't make these crazy. So like from a hardware standpoint, everyone else is really far behind us, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Because we just have access. We just have access to the best.
Yeah, but here's
if you look at it like a minority, we have the best swords. They're in like bronze stuff, and we're rocking steel. You know, like it's just.
But here's the problem. So to keep it going and to continue making these chips and all the stuff that is needed, you need the data centers, right? That are going to drive the thing. So this is where where the problem is. Hold on.
Oh my God.
America is very anti. I mean, we're looking at CNBC right now, and the main story on the front page is Bernie Sanders and Ron DeSantis agree on something. Okay, well, that's in itself is confusing, but you know, they're very Americans are. It's an environmental thing. It comes down to an environmental thing, and particularly the left is going to be very anti data center, right? And
it's more complicated than that.
Look at your problem. You're a Californian. Look at all the fucking water problems.
Sure.
I mean, data centers. They're suggesting another one to kill Lake Mead as an example.
Well, I want to bring something up, and I need to go back and dig into the exact numbers. The water that data centers use is infinitesimally small compared to the water that we use in the desert Southwest. In
for
California,
sure.
To grow alfalfa for cows.
I agree.
This is the fact. If we only ate beef once a week, we would solve the water crisis in the Western United States.
Which we're not going to do.
Which we're not going to do. But I just want to put this in context.
Yeah, but
I also want to say something. Like not all AI is the same thing. There are all these different kinds of AI. There's large language models. There's what's it called? I'm missing the name of it's one by Mistral and Nascale. So there's all these
the one thing that they do have, but Josiah, the one thing they have in common is they use a lot of power.
Exactly.
So power.
Now, there are some that have arrived in the last year or so that use far less power and need far less data stuff and can do things because they're like large language models are all about like trying to put this in the simplistic terms, which anyone who really knows AI is going to get mad at me. It's just like, what word makes the most sense to come next when I say the word next?
Right.
It might be the word so it knows to put the word after the word next because there's a pause in what I'm saying. So that's like the way they go to begin assembling information at scale. There are other ones that actually get closer to what are the correct answer to things that use far less power with far simpler and different kinds of models. So all that to say, not all AI is the same. Not all of them use resources in the same way. And certainly it is the case that AI has yet to be proven to either create another sentient creature that can think and do things on its own, also, or to like really do shit better than we can do a lot of things.
Because we still have to check it.
Yeah, like except for making like really shitty Instagram reels
Really
of like
bad.
really bad stuff. Now, that's not to say it's not going to get better, but like we haven't like turned the corner into something where it's like, oh my gosh, that is a sentient creature that is improving itself and outthinking me on things, because humans are really, really, really good at distilling lots of information and making like orthogonal knowledge leaps to solve problems that like just doing word association, which is what effectively large language models are doing. And I know I'm going to get blown up for saying that. It's far more complex than that, but it's kind of a distilled way of putting it.
But it's like
it just doesn't do that. It's never going to go and like solve problems like you do, Mike, when you're figuring out your solar setup and the rest.
Right.
And because you can't do that just by word association. Because it can't look at the world and understand anyway. But there are other models doing really interesting things. So all that thing to say like the AI race is a really simplistic way to try to boil something down that is actually like we're still figuring out these models and what the software should be and how it should work and what it can actually do better than us. And then there's the money side of things, which is this arms race insanity that right now nobody can keep up with the money that the U.S. is spending because we still have the most money on the planet from a venture capital standpoint because we've destroyed the middle class and put it all in the pockets of guys like Bezos and the rest. But anyway, let's see this anymore.
But we like them, Josiah.
No, fuck them.
Well, okay.
Off with their heads.
Hold on. I want to get this in. I want to get this into the podcast today because you and I had this conversation last night, and you were talking about wealthy people or what we call the business icons of the time. I'll use that word. But here's the thing. But correct me if I'm wrong. Jeff Bezos, as an example, is Amazon. Mm-hmm. None of us want Amazon to go away. No, we've all supported. The reason that he is off the coast of Baja in his yacht right now is because you and I bought Amazon.
I think he's in St. Bart. Isn't he in St. Bart's right now?
No, his yacht.
Yeah, he's in St. Bart. There's a video that came out of him dancing with his.
Well, that's probably different. It's probably a different yacht. He's got more than one, right?
probably does.
But anyways, my point is that the masses have made these people what they are. Do you agree with that?
I think that's an incredibly simplistic way to do it. That also implies. I mean, are you saying that like the current political and economic system in which we live and function, whether that's a tax law or even just lobbying, like that has not also contributed to the wealth that they have?
Yes, it has. But
okay, cool.
But like look like it's Zuckerberg. We were talking about Zuckerberg.
Sure.
The guy might be a jerk, whatever. I mean, he screwed his partners in the beginning, like everybody else has done in business and whatever. But the bottom line is, he wouldn't be where he is today if we all didn't plug ourselves into Facebook like it was, some godly thing. And so it tends to be the average Joe that puts these people where they are. Okay.
Well,
so
I think it's also
fall. And our argument was,
I would disagree with that.
This, well, but hold on. My point was, I can't hate the guy because of where he's gotten.
Sure.
I mean, that's
fair.
Right?
Yeah.
And he deserves where he got. I mean, he's worked for it.
I sort of don't. That he is where he is just sort of like a description of the story for how we got there. Like deserves implies almost a little bit of like this rightness that where he's at is good, and
Well,
that I would just say
that we didn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it was good or bad. Like that's a different conversation altogether.
Okay. Yeah,
now we have to ask
the right
ourselves,
word.
like, is what he built, what he built at the time? Like I remember getting Facebook for the first time, like when it was only available in like colleges and universities, and we came up with a subdomain on our college to be able to get it. And we had to file with them to get them to turn one on for us. I remember at the time, it just seemed really cool. We're connecting the world together, all that sort of fun stuff, but. That doesn't mean we can't ask ourselves right now, like, do we think Facebook is a net benefit for good in the world?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
look, we wouldn't be on this podcast right now if it wasn't for Zuckerberg. We wouldn't.
I am very confused right now. Please bring me up to speed. I don't understand. Okay. What is the argument you two are having right now? Are you guys arguing whether or not that the richest people in the world.
Where I was getting.
I was trying to accuse Josiah of unfairly.
I'm trying to ask you: are you guys arguing whether or not the richest people in the world, that a large portion of their success is or isn't because of the masses? Is that what the discussion is?
Well, I think, and Mike, you have to forgive me if I get in incorrectly.
Because that seems obvious to me.
Well, no, I definitely think that, like, yes, they made something, and by they, I mean like they started him, Zuckerberg, to use that example, in his room, of which then a whole bunch of other people got involved making the thing. And Zuckerberg for a while was involved in doing, pull requests, et cetera, on the code base, but now it's tens of thousands of people involved in making this behemoth of a thing. Mike made the point, like, well, look, if we didn't use it, he wouldn't be in the position that he's in, which is correct. But I also want to point out that, like, but that doesn't mean that one, that's necessarily a good thing. And that's a different conversation. Two, it also doesn't mean that, like, the economic and legal system in which we live and exist in the United States of America, that it doesn't exist to benefit him. Like, that it hasn't helped him along the way as he's gotten richer and richer. That he doesn't then use his money to enrich himself more to the detriment, potentially, of other people. Like, it's a complex answer, and it's not a simple or fast answer to sit there and go, well, if we didn't use it, he wouldn't be rich like that. It's like, no, it's actually far more complex than that. Like, businesses are beholden to these guys. Like, Google is the only meaningful search engine on the planet. If Google existed 100 years ago, Teddy Roosevelt would be trust busting the fuck out of the thing and busted it up like a high school kegger. Like, it wouldn't exist as the monolith that it did, because we recognized over 100 years ago that having one company that controls all the railroads, one company, Standard Oil, that controls all of the oil in the country, that's bad for the economy. It's bad to not have competition. It's bad to have monopolies in that way, because companies exist to make shareholder value. They exist to turn a profit. Period. And they'll break any rule, and they will break any rule, and they'll pollute in any million of ways. It's not a moral thing. They just exist to make profit for shareholders. And so we recognize 100 years
about.
We're not arguing about anything. I'm just making a greater point that Mike's
We're agreeing, actually.
Yeah, we're actually agreeing. They're like, yeah, sure, if we didn't use it, but, like, we're also kind of a situation like, what the fuck is the alternative?
Let me put this in perspective, Phil, for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What we're really talking about here is what you and I have talked about here on the podcast at great length over many different episodes. And where we are, what I'm trying to circle around is that everything that we've talked about here today is all related in the sense that where America has gone wrong, in my opinion, is that we have such a wealth disparity that has occurred over the last, call it 50 years, where that all of the money is being held by a very small group of people and or businesses, right? And the problem here is that I think, and not to oversimplify this, but I think the left and the right look at it two different ways. They may agree at the end of the day, but I think they look at it two different ways, and that's kind of where I'm kind of diving into here. is how do you, and it's probably not solvable, but how do you solve that? Because it's only going to get worse. And to go back to our discussion, we were talking about why the left isn't celebrating the 250-year anniversary, or why they don't like the American flag anymore, or any of those things. It stems largely from financial, from wealth, from the feeling that we do not have equity, or that there's not parity across the board for all people in America, right? So that is at the very root of where our system is today, is that people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and all these guys have created a system that now it's like a snowball. They're able to make it better and better all the time. Look when Donald Trump has a little round table at the White House, who shows up nowadays? All those guys, right? Because they have the power. And like Josiah said, talk about, no competition. Google is the only search engine. Google controls YouTube, which is really the biggest media company in the world.
It is now. Yeah, absolutely.
Elon Musk controls fucking everything, space, communication.
Well,
so
Mike, I want to bring up a
we're
couple
not really
things.
arguing. We're simply
no.
How do you
We're trying to figure out what
this?
I think if we can agree.
I was highlighting the point that you guys are. This was the crux of this whole discussion. Was would we be able to succeed? And the reason why I think we won't be able to succeed is this conversation. You guys are in agreement, yet you're not in agreement.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we get tangled up. Well, for one, okay, that's a little tricky. I think that discussions around immigration, even trans stuff and other things, like those are used by elites to distract what tend to be conservative people on the right from the billionaire aristocracy that is destroying the middle class. Like those are used to divide us, because trans folks are like less than 0.01% of the population. And yet it's the thing we talk about all the damn time, as if like this is a big thing hurting. It's literally such a red herring.
But Josiah, that was broadcast by the left.
No. And I agree, but I'm going to get to something. I'm building to something. So, because here's what happens, I think, when you have a country where the system has such profound inequities, where it's so set up to benefit a very small group of people. And right now, let's remember, 8 billionaires in the United States control more wealth than the lower 60%. Yeah. Like, wrap your head around that. Like, the middle class went from being, I think, the greatest thing the United States has ever accomplished as a country, other than the instilling of voting rights for everyone, all that sort of stuff. Like, it has never existed in the history of mankind. We went and made the middle class. It was and it held more purchasing power and wealth than any other group of people in the United States. And you could get into it for the most part. It was easier for a really long time. And then around Reagan, we went and just started changing things. We lied about the idea of trickle down stuff because there's no incentive for the wealth to trickle down. Why would it ever trickle down? Like, it just doesn't work that way. We all now know. Anyone with anything like beyond the most basic understanding of economics realize that's just a nonsense thing. And we've just watched wages stay flat. The buying power of the dollar has just gotten obliterated. But yet the 1% in the country, at 10%, they've just gotten crazy wealthy. Like, wealthy to a degree that would like horrify Roman emperors wealthy. What they could do. They don't exist in the world that you and I do. Never mind the actual poor people that are impoverished in our country and what they have to go through on a day-to-day basis. It's crazy. So like, what I think we have to do is first acknowledge like what the fuck the problem is. And what the problem is like, do we think it's a good idea for 8 people to control 60%, to have more wealth than the lower 60%? Do we think that 10% of the country should have 60% of the buying power in the country? Is that good? We can just ask that question. We just have to ask it. Like, I'm not saying like right, because we get to decide that. We decide whether or not we think that's good or not. It's not written in stone tablets. It's not in the Bible. We
The
get to
problem is
decide.
that we, over the last 50 years, have decided that it is collectively.
But see, who had the power to do that, and who was smart enough to come up with issues like immigration and race and abortion and religion, and use those things to get people to vote against their own self-interest. Like I look at them, like, you're literally
Democrats.
No, but I also want to say something. Like
That's
Mike brought
who
up
did
this idea.
that. I'm answering your question.
I agree. I agree, but
the whole blueprint for what you just described. Conservatives may be using it now, but it was created by Democrats. The whole idea,
kind of, except,
and you have stimulated the
goes back to
question.
Reagan, though.
If everything that you're saying is true, which I think is true, then why has the Democratic Party, the Liberal Party, spent so much time on 1% issues versus
Bill calls them the losers. Why do they focus on losing issues?
They're losers. Like, so I want to draw a distinction. So there's a really great expression that goes back where they say, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. So there's this idea in sort of class critiques of something called the petite bourgeoisie. It's like the little rich people. And I'm going to talk about Schumer, that fucking coward, weenie, douche nozzle.
So you're not answering my question at all, Josiah.
No, I'm getting there, Phil. Like, let me get there. So when you talk about liberals, I want you to remember, like, when I see Schumer and the rest, all they are pansies who are actually just fascists too. Because as soon as they're put to the question, because they have so much to lose. In their mind, they're like,
they were voted in by millions of people. So you can't just say it's them. They are representative of a large group of people.
It's really fucking frustrating.
So it's not just them. It's the whole liberal democrats.
But the thing is, like, remember you've got like a horrific fascist beast on the right dragging us that direction. And you got a bunch of cowards that are Democrats who are refusing to like stick to their guns when the government was shut down, and they caved and gave Trump everything they wanted when they're just trying to keep people to have their health premiums from going up, which I just got screwed by, even though I pay taxes and have employees and the rest. It's crazy. They're not actually like America is a center-right country. The left in this country that you think of, Democrats, they're just the center, and they're cowards and they're weenies and they don't fight. And that's why we need proper leftists coming in with freaking guillotines and unions and taxes on the billionaire class.
Then you missing the point.
Full stop.
You missing the point.
Yeah. Well, I get the point.
If the Democratic machine isn't doing that, then that's never going to happen. That's
I agree completely. 100%.
Utopian idea.
That's why I like.
And I'm not just on the liberals, because that's not my point to shit on the liberals. My point is both of y'all ain't shit. And
I agree.
Whoever's going to be in office is going to continue on the same thing.
I'm with you all the way. It's why I like Bernie. It's why I like Bernie. It's why I like Mamdani. Like, I'm like,
here's the problem. Mamdani, just think about, you just brought up his name. Today, he's a cool guy because he came out of nowhere.
We'll see.
But just listen. 5 years from now, he's going to be like AOC. I mean, she lived in an apartment and had no money. Now she's a multi-millionaire. Her mindset is completely different today. It's
all game.
It's an all game. This is the problem, and he's going to go the same way.
Right side, no matter whose side you on the wrong side. If you thinking politics,
she's not a multimillionaire. I just looked it up. Yeah, you can look at Corpus Quantitative. She's like slightly less than 500,000.
Millionaire. Come on,
she's not. Look it up, dude. Just look it up.
Well, okay, what about what's her face? The Minnesota chick from Ethiopia or wherever the hell.
I don't know. I've dug into her. We can go dig it, but I just want to be like, and even then, like, Mike.
But my point is,
like they're not. They're like, I want some freaking heroes, man. I want some people like.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
We need a hero instead of just standing up on our own. Why do you need a hero?
No. I'm first standing up, like, dude, like I say, like, remember when Trump first got elected, and this is when I knew we were doomed.
That's
so Trump gets elected.
Is in office right now.
I agree.
Democrats elected Trump. I mean, let's be clear.
Dude, and the thing is, I'm from San Francisco, and when I saw Kamala get the nomination, I was just like, we don't even like her in San Francisco.
Fuck, nobody likes
her in San Francisco. We're just like, I'm like, come on, that's who we pick. Dude, I'm from California. We don't like Newsom. He's evil. Yeah. He's our evil. The only thing he hates more than the homeless are Republicans. So I'll
All
take
right,
that right now.
we going to
But,
the
like,
next thing, guys.
He's not a good guy.
We're going to the next thing, guys.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Nikhil Haley, the son of
Mhm.
former UN ambassador and presidential candidate Nikki Haley,
No way, yeah.
is calling for a full ban on H-1B visas, saying that delaying visas is good, but not good enough. He says his college friends are not getting jobs in this economy, and hence, America should stop giving jobs to foreigners. So, guys, doesn't the American government have a responsibility to its own citizens to eliminate competition for jobs, especially when young graduates say they can't find work?
Wait. This is the son of
Nikki Haley. Yeah, an immigrant, son of an immigrant, daughter of an immigrant herself.
Wait.
So we can discuss that part. We can discuss that part secondary.
Okay, hold on.
The question is what he said.
You're asking, does the government have a responsibility to protect American jobs? If you word just like that, my answer would be yes.
That's what I am asking you.
So
is it the responsibility to its citizens to eliminate competition for jobs, especially when young graduates say they can't find work?
So that's an incredibly, I reject that framing of the problem. I reject the framing of the problem in that way.
Well, I think it's bullshit.
The difficulty of people to get jobs out of college may have nothing to do with H-1Bs. Like there are lots of issues with H-1B visas.
Really?
Yeah, man. So no, don't get me wrong. I think there are definitely all kinds of concerns with H-1B visas, but that has more to do with the fact that a company basically effectively controls your H-1B, and they've kind of got you over a barrel because they kind of hold your H-1B, and it's a lot harder for you to move between. And this was a very common thing when I worked in tech in San Francisco. When a company kind of holds your H-1B, they kind of got you
well, you're a company person, like the old.
Yeah, you're a guy by the short
curlies. You're an indentured servant, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean, not quite that bad, but yeah, it's definitely like a lot of leverage, because if you leave or get fired or whatever, you're shit out of luck.
That's not my discussion. I don't care about any of that.
Now you can ask the question: how much do H-1B holders contribute to the difficulty in the current job market? That's the question. I want to know that. That's the real thing.
But Phil, you're saying stop, guys. I'm asking the questions and you're not answering them. My question is: should the government's responsibility be towards employing all of these Americans first and anybody else second? That's what I'm asking you. Yes or no?
In concept, yes. Because the two things that a federal government should do is protect its people, and that's done any way that they can. In my opinion, as a libertarian, the number one role of government is to protect the borders of the United States. Period. It's to the continuity of the.
No, man, we should privatize national security. Let's just go all the way with it, man. I'm joking.
It's a whole different problem.
Y'all blowing me away with this.
Why?
Because every one of them that gets a job here, that eliminates a job from somebody.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And
Phil.
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. That's math.
No. It's not a math thing. It comes down to do we have the kind of skilled labor? And by skilled, I mean anything. It could be I don't think that a waiter isn't a kind of skilled labor. You need to know how to wait tables. So what I mean by that is do we have somebody that can do that job? If we do not, then I actually think it's a good idea to hire somebody who's not in the United States to do that job. And the company hopefully grows and can hire other people. So I think it's incredibly pragmatic. You have to be very pragmatic about it and go well, look, there just isn't enough doctors in the United States to meet graduating, going to med school, to meet the demand we have for doctors in the U.S. Therefore, but I'm just using this as an example. Therefore, let's bring in doctors from outside. That's the way I think it should work.
There's no examples when you really get down to it. You will have to get down to some real minuscule, very singular jobs. And the number of people that qualify for those jobs is so much smaller than the amount of people who come over here and take jobs.
Look, I want to be really clear. I am not
you
going to
have
a
to
doctor.
understand where I live. I live where a lot of HB1s live that have come here for their special jobs. And what happens is one of them is a very gifted, very skilled.
And then he brings all the family and friends.
And they bring thousands of people with them.
And that's where the problem is.
That's a different thing.
Wait.
That's a different thing.
But I'm going to cover. I don't evade the question.
Mm-hmm.
The person, there are people who can be trained up. It's not that big a separation in what he does and what other people are here. People can be trained up. Going back to the waiter thing, if I own a Michelin restaurant, then there's a certain level of waiter that I need, and it's not going to be easily to achieve that. However, if I really need one, I can buckle down and I can take somebody lesser than and train them up, and it will benefit us more. It will even make the overall employees feel better that you stuck with people within. So it's a lazy thing to just be like, oh, we don't have nobody qualified. We'll go get somebody from somewhere else.
No, I want to be clear. Like, I wasn't saying that is universally the case. I'm just saying that, like,
but it's not even close.
That is true.
It's not, but if it was like a high percentage, I would respect it. But it's such a smart. It's like the 1% you talked about before. It's like that.
But I also want to know, like, the hard numbers. Like, and again, this is anecdotal, so it's only been my personal experience, just my personal experience in a limited way, working in tech, where I definitely saw a little bit of that. Like, I got in on my H-1B, and now I'm bringing family and friends from another country over because I now have hiring authority or influence to bring in other folks, and the company as a whole digs H-1Bs because you kind of got them.
You are talking to
and again, I remember, I want to be really clear about this. This was just my cocked eyebrow. Is that happening? How much is that real? I don't quite know. This feels like it might be true. I'm hearing some things. I want to actually see some studies on, like, how much that's actually real, if that's a real thing. It's not like it wasn't the sort of thing that I would do. I came to Mexico, got my permanent residency, was able to hire people. That's how I got Mike down, and he's terribly unqualified for the things he does down here. But I got him down on the Mexican equivalent of the H-1B. And I said that he was my brother. And I forged a birth certificate for him.
That's right.
Sorry. You're just going to cut that out. Cut that one out of the podcast.
No.
Yeah, I just want to know if it's real. I want to know how real it is from a statistical standpoint.
I worked in tech too. And I know the game. Once a corporation gets the taste of H-1B and they realize that
cheaper labor,
I can get this guy for $150,000 versus the $200,000. And he will. I don't even have to ask him to work 12 hours. He's going to work them because he's going to do anything and everything. I can ask him to do things questionable that me having rights. I'll be like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's going to do it. I've witnessed it. This ain't.
Well, I would also say that, like,
and then there's a whole group of them, and then when they get there, they literally train the new guy coming in, hey, when you get here, this is how you do things, and they literally put them up on game that basically be a slave to the company.
I feel like we got to do some research and do some digging, and let's look for some studies. Like, I want to see, like, where that chain H-1B.
I've seen it at
Fortune 100. Let me ask you this question.
I know. It definitely.
Do you think they're going to succeed?
That's true, but I want to know.
If you in tech, you saw that.
Yeah, but I want to know what's real. I see a lot of things, but I want to know. I know my personal experience isn't everyone's experience.
Ultimately, they don't care about us, so they don't. The H-1B visa debate is only like how LGBT and other things.
They definitely did it in my Burning Man camps.
It's a thing to keep us upset.
Yeah,
but when it comes down to it, they're gonna do whatever's beneficial for the corporate.
Well, I got a question for you on the flip side of that, Phil. Like, I basically refuse to go to a white doctor. I will only go to an Indian, Jewish, Chinese, or African American doctor because I need, like, the cultural pressure of success and generational pressure to be successful to really trust them as a doctor. Whereas the white doctors, probably just coasting and taking it easy. So I'm making a joke, Phil.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really trying to analyze what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke, Phil.
So, guys,
I grew up with Indian and Pakistani friends, and just like I remember their moms barking at Stern and Neil. Shout out to my buds. What up?
So
we're not doctors.
Let's end with the biggest story of them all.
Oh boy!
Last week, a viral video from a YouTuber was circulated to imply that multiple childcare centers in Minnesota, including one he claimed received millions in state funding. It appeared empty based on his observations from outside the buildings. Short, edited clips were then used to drive national backlash with criticism directed at Somali communities alleged to have received funding through programs approved under Governor Tim Walz's administration. So, guys, what should people actually be focused on here? The Somali people the Somali people being targeted, or the government officials who approved and monitored the funding?
Well, yeah, it shouldn't be the Somali people. It should be the government people that should. I mean, obviously, this could be the largest fraud that's ever been committed in the United States. Possibly.
I mean, is it yet.
Don't know. No. I think it could be. I mean, it's as we've talked about on the podcast before. This is an extension of the same bullshit that we saw that came out of COVID, right? The PPP money and all the crookedness that went along with the government. Look, as soon as the government gets involved in handing money out for something, it's going to be a problem somewhere.
Yeah, there's always going to be. The other thing I want to mention is that, like, when I first saw it happen, it was presented like, oh my gosh, we're just now revealing that there's the Somali community in Minnesota has been committing massive fraud. And I was like, what? It was like a new thing. And then I went and just did a little digging, like, there have been something like almost 70 charges and prosecutions over the course of the last decade for people that were involved in fraud in Minnesota associated with housing, autism programs, and the rest. So, like, the idea that this was like some big new secret reveal on the Somali community is just utter horseshit. Like, they've been catching people defrauding the government, doing bullshit stuff in Minnesota and every other damn state for forever. Like, that's not a unique thing. The fact that guy went and made a video specifically on a Somali thing fed that narrative. Now, I don't know, because I haven't taken the time to do the research. Like, has there been some kind of interesting spike where there was a whole bunch of these fake Somali daycares or whatever doing this sort of things? Is that any kind of justification for the racism and bullshit against the Somali community? No, go fuck yourself with that shit.
It's been a dog whistle.
It's a dog whistle for the racist bullshit that is pumped out by Trump and his dumb guys that cheated off all three of us in high school somehow are running things. Is mind blowing. No, I don't buy it at all. Also, just it's not new. Like, there's anytime there's like big government expenditures, there's fraud.
I think the story here, though, is that if indeed it gets to the point where higher government officials were in the know or turned a blind eye or were just plain stupid, you're dealing with somebody that ran for vice president of the United States.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Mike.
Where the story is.
It's really easy, Mike. We just wait until they give us the data. Everyone can just. Here's the thing. Can everyone just shut the fuck up and wait until we find out what's true?
And here's the thing.
But we're not interested in doing that because MSNBC and Fox News and CNN and the rest, they just want clickbaits and the rest. Yeah. They want people like us on a podcast to talk about it because it gets more interest. Even though we don't have the data, give me the facts, man. That's what I want.
Here's the thing.
And if Waltz is guilty, freak him, throw him in jail.
They are accusing a group of people for together committing a crime basically against the government. Do you agree with that?
Give me some evidence. Give me.
Oh, I agree. They're accusing them, Phil, but I don't think that. I think that's bullshit.
But I'm getting to something. If that is the basis for this kind of hatred and this constantly being in the media, then why aren't all of these red states where every single year white farmers who cheat the system, because I know the farmer game too. Most farmers,
I worked in that for a while.
most of the farmers do way more scamming for far more money than what we talking about, and I don't hear nothing about that any year of my life. And I've been
there's a reason why Iowa votes in its primary first, man.
But that's but my but my point
Shout
is
out to Iowa.
but my point is we don't really care about the crime. We care about who did it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Truer words never spoken. Yeah.
Phil, I mean, think about it. The fact that it's Somali people has the same connection to the undercurrents of the Islam and I brought up her earlier. What's her name? Whatever her name is up there.
And a lot of these red states have the undercurrents of KKK, white nationalists, and things like that, and they're farmers. So
it reinforces a narrative that somehow this group of immigrants is taking from me this potentially middle class and or poor person, like, I don't know, Appalachia, that somehow they are taking from me, even though I receive more benefits. And like, it's just not true. There's no way a Somali immigrant, even if they were doing something corrupt, is taking any money out of the pockets of a poor white person in West Virginia. You want to know who benefits from all this shit? The billionaire class, every single time. And the reason why they're talking about Somalis is because it distracts you from the fact that the minority in this country that's robbing from the average American are the billionaires. That's the minority we need to care about. They're the ones fleecing us and destroying the middle class.
We're going to end with this. And I think I have the perfect crew here, all content creators. So this all stems from a YouTuber knocking on doors.
Yeah. What was his name? Like Nicky Shirley?
I don't want to say his name. I don't want to say his name.
Oh, sorry.
I want to make a point. I've talked about this with you before, Mike, when there was another gentleman who I basically said he was a YouTuber and they're making him out to be more just because he got shot.
Right.
I classify him as the same as that other dude. Mm-hmm. These are dudes who, because I've followed him before this, he aggravates people. He goes and does things. He goes and incites things.
Are you talking about, like, I only saw that one video and he just looked like some assholes messing with a lady.
I've watched him a lot. And
I immediately scroll past. I'm like, this guy's just being a dick to someone.
Let me make my point, Josiah.
Yeah.
Is I'm just going to call it like it is. If I lived in a black neighborhood, American citizen, where it's predominantly a black neighborhood, where we don't truly see white people, and a young white guy and an old white guy come knocking on a nursery school door, he would get shot by me.
Yeah, you don't open that fucking door.
And if the story had been if the story had been told the other way around, it would everybody been like, well, what were they doing?
Oh yeah,
knocking on the door?
100%.
Oh my God, it would have been so many Karens talking about what is they doing, and they're praising this dude like he's this great person, and he's a shitty person that did a shitty thing.
Yeah,
he just just because you made. And he has not proven anything.
Well, because he's just doing it for the clip. Yeah, look at it works. Look how famous he is now.
Yeah, did they actually prove that daycare was like fake? Like what I read was like there was no. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I know daycares have days where they don't have kids all the time. I live next to one,
but we don't even know if there was kids in there.
Exactly. I was just like, she's not going to let some rando into the thing. Like that's like rule number one. You never do that.
Right.
I was like, this whole thing feels like bullshit. Like it's just bullshit. It's not facts. And until then,
but here's the problem. The biggest problem is
should be questioning him as to why he is going up to those different things.
And his mom should be smacking him upside the head for being an asshole.
She's probably.
The disturbing part is that it's been picked up by powerful people in the government to be used as an agenda.
And this goes back to what I'm saying. They don't care about the validity. They don't care about what he did.
No.
This is an opportunity to show hate that's already present.
Yes.
And it's
no
only
different than eating the cats, eating the dogs. It's the same thing.
They're just doing it to distract us from the fact that they're fleecing the middle class, destroying the economy, raping and pillaging the average American, taking our money, well-being, making us sicker,
and we're going to vote
less
for
educated.
again.
So Donald Trump's son can get a $700 billion or $700 million investment in his new drone startup because I can't buy a replacement for my DJI one. It's so dumb. They're just grifter, thieving bastards. And Schumer and the rest on the left are enabling it. And the pitbull dumbasses on the right are just driving forward with the whole thing.
And they're all 4 years from now, they're all going to win again. It's going to be the same bullshit. This is the problem.
That's why we need to roll out the Molotov cocktails, guillotines, and the rest. I'm not advocating for violence against the U.S. government in any way, shape, or form. I would never do that.
But as I've said on the podcast before, the only way that this is ever going to come to a conclusion is you're going to end up in a civil war kind of situation. You're going to end up.
We call it revolution, man. We call it revolution.
Or revolution. Yeah. But
hey, we're gonna have the Pacific States of America. We're gonna invite Baja California, sir, and Baja California to join. You can be a citizen, Mike. You can
they ain't gonna be one part of California, though, dude.
Dude, California's the shit, man. It's the greatest place on earth.
No,
you can be a representative for the people don't like California. You're in California right now.
Well,
you're just in Baja California versus Alta
the state of California.
Whatever, you're great. You can be the congressman from Todos Santos.
There you go.
All right, last thing, and we're out of here, guys. Democrats quietly shelved their 2024 election autopsy, now rebranded an after-action review, arguing that transparency would be a distraction from winning in 2026. Critics inside the party say burying the findings risk repeating the same mistakes. So, guys, does killing this report help Democrats win, or does it signal avoidance?
100% avoidance. They're cowards.
Yeah, it doesn't help them win. It's the same thing about Josiah's buddy Bernie Sanders. He'd be the president of the United States if they didn't fuck him.
Yeah, man, freaking like Hillary. Yeah, the Democratic establishment took that guy out.
Yeah,
they did not want him to win, man.
So, Mike, this highlights what I've been saying for about 6 months now, where Democrats are in a hard place. The things that it says that they need to change are cornerstones of their ideals now, and they would have to literally say, I am wrong, or I am turning my back against things that we supported.
The thing is, it's not even about that, Phil. That's not the problem. It's that they're not supporting the right things. Let's remember how much money Nancy Pelosi made as a congresswoman and Speaker of the House? She got just as rich as every other fucking grifter in the room. She just did.
That wasn't in the report.
It's not in the report, but just remember, like, she was part of the problem. And so, like, let's remember, like, Democratic establishment, they're literally, it's like somebody's serving you a bowl of nails and glass shards, and that's Republicans, and Democrats hand you a spoon. Shovel it.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Man. Just how you said it. That was beautiful.
They didn't make the dish, but they're damn now not slapping it off the table and punching the guy who gave it to you, which is what we want.
But what I was getting to is they do not want to let go of their losing the things that it reported to say.
So ask yourself, why don't they want to let it go?
They haven't learned.
Money. They're making the money just like the Republicans are, man.
And it really would not serve them. I mean, if you're saying, well, I agree with them now, then why would I vote for you? I just keep voting for the same person. You have to show some kind of contrast.
Oh, man, I agree with you completely. Yeah, that's a problem. We're in a really rough spot.
And
they need a liberal Donald Trump. That's what they need. They need somebody that has the personality, the
like somebody who's not a moron. Strength. That would be nice, but yeah.
Every time they get one, they keep
that's
getting
a qualification.
One. Every time they get one, they cheat them. They cheat them every time.
Oh, they do.
Bernie Sanders was almost kind of sort of that. I'm not going to make him that, but he was kind of almost.
Almost, yeah.
And they just decided, hey, he's not going to fight for these losing battles that we want to keep fighting. So
right.
we're just going to not allow him to run for president.
Let's go with Hillary.
It's unbelievable. Watching that happen was surreal.
They are going to have a hard time during debates, especially on a presidential level. It's going to just be like simple questions that are going to be asked that they're going to be required to either stick to their guns or say that I was wrong.
It's going to be interesting to see who the candidate is. It's
Well,
going to be
Josiah,
real interesting.
you brought up the most likely candidate is probably fucking Gavin Newsom. Like,
dude, the election's a long ways away, man. Like, I think it's a mistake.
You guys want to make a wager on that?
I'm not going to. I mean, I would really hope it wasn't Gavin, just because
it ain't going to be Gavin.
Yeah, because the electoral college, that's just a mistake. California's going to go blue no matter what. It is a mistake to pick somebody like Gavin. Who
I agree, but they're known for making mistakes, picking people.
He'd have to do like far more bath salts and like shoot people who come at him too fast to be voted, to have Florida support him. In Ohio, he'd have to like burn more couches.
Well, yeah, the rest of America doesn't necessarily like California. So it's not a good choice.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of firmly like, look, I love the United States. The fact that we are one country blows my mind. I just think everything west of Denver should just make its own country at this point. Like we'll give the Mormons Illinois and Missouri so we can take Utah. We'll just annex Arizona, but they're in timeout for a while till they figure their shit out as a state.
So Phil, who do you think right now? I know it's way early, but who do you
think Phil?
Would be a candidate
that they will actually allow to be a candidate?
Yes.
I got a better question. Do you actually think there's going to be an election?
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
No. I don't. My money's more than.
Oh, you mean an election within the Democrats, or you mean in general?
No, I don't think it'll be. I think Trump will figure out some weird site if he lives that long.
Oh no, that ain't.
Holy shit! If I never rooted for heart disease more,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think there'll be an election.
But
I don't think there'll be an election.
In answer to your question, Mike, I don't have anybody, but I do have who. If I were working for them and they told me to pick somebody I think would have a chance, Fetterman.
What? Interesting.
He would lose a lot of his Democrats.
This is Phil, man. This is Phil. He's like he comes out of nowhere.
I used to hate that guy, but I got to tell you, when he first got elected, I was like, God, this guy is terrible. And I was like, how could they even? But I got to tell you,
agree.
He actually, at this point, says what he believes in. He says what he believes in, and he, by and large, isn't just sticking on a party line. So I give him that. I give him respect for that.
The reason why he would be a good candidate is because he would draw the line, the only line that is going to bring success. He is the one who is kicking out these different losers.
Yeah.
He's not going to deal with these 20% issues. He's dealing with the 80.
Yep.
Anybody who doesn't do that is not got a chance as a Democrat.
And God forbid he actually agreed with Trump on something, and that's why the Democrats hate him now.
You don't have
That's not why we hate him.
And let me be clear.
I'm not a Democrat.
You don't need a Democrat to all of a sudden say like, I hate gay people or something like that. You just need a guy who will, when in a presidential debate, they say, what is a woman? And he stands up and says, blah, 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 blah. This is what a woman is. And he's going to win a majority of people. He's going to lose
common sense. It's common sense.
He's going to lose a huge chunk of people, though, because there are some people that if you don't go with this, then I'm not with you. Understandable. But there are a lot of people that I talk to who are Democrats and liberals, and that's their only issue. They're like, I believe in the majority of this stuff. That's the only reason why I stick around. But there's a handful of issues I'm not with.
Yeah.
I think I can't really speak to who I think is going to end up. I don't think there'll be a presidential election, but if I could recommend to you a candidate that I think you guys would find incredibly interesting to check out, And just go watch some of his videos because he's incredibly articulate, well-spoken, thoughtful. He's from Texas. He looks a bit like a Lego figurine with his like goofy cropped hair, but he's a guy named James Tallarico. And I actually think you guys are really going to like him.
Didn't he lose? I thought he ran for something and lost already.
No, he's a congressman right now. He's running for U.S. Senate in Texas. He's incredibly thoughtful, incredibly nuanced.
What do you mean thoughtful and nuanced?
What I mean is like he doesn't sit there and just like come up with like, oh, how do we beat China? He goes, well, actually, these are the factors that we need to take into consideration making this kind of decision. He's also very Christian, which I'm definitely not, but like I appreciate his transparency about what he values in the world and how that informs his decision-making process. I like that. And I just think you guys should check him out. I think both of you would like them as people that like value by the part. He doesn't sound like a typical Democrat at all. Like this guy's question. He's super interesting. You'd like him. James Tallarico, if you're in Texas.
Do you think moving forward, this is for both you guys, do you think moving forward, saying you're a Christian and wearing that on your vest, is that going to be a positive or a negative for the majority?
I mean, in the United States, it still is. Yeah, in the United States, it still is. Like we were,
for a majority.
Whether we like it or not, it's been the dominant religious thing in our country, even though our founding fathers certainly were not. Yeah. That was still the one they were friendliest with because it's not like we.
So let me ask it a different way.
It's getting stronger towards that.
They're the most vociferous voting bloc in the United States.
Yeah. If two candidates were equal in every way, both were religious, but one always spoke about it, but the other one was always like, I'm a Christian, but I believe whatever you do is whatever you do. You feel the Christian is the more favorable candidate to the majority?
Absolutely. Dude, like as a species, we haven't evolved beyond that. Yeah. Like there is no meaningful evidence in the world.
Why Christian?
Because that's just the particular brand we are as a former English colony.
And more people in the U.S.
Former English colony, we're just European in that way. It's Christian, we got some Roman Catholics in there, and a lot of Protestants think Catholics aren't Christian, and Protestants don't think Mormons are Christian. Yeah, but that's a
really good job at recruiting right now. To be honest, they're gaining. So that their brand.
Times of economic hardship, they have an upswing.
That's what I was headed to. Is
look at the Charlie Kirk thing. Look at the whole Kirk thing. Right?
Who's that?
Like that brought to the forefront how many people are religious or into it, or even how it's spreading on college campuses, which for many years you would think would be the opposite of that, right?
Who was that?
He's the YouTuber.
Like that podcast guy who like to yell at college students?
Josiah, shut the hell up. You know what we're talking about.
Y'all be killing me bringing up people y'all ain't watched, man.
Wow.
I done watched both of them.
Was that the college dropout who liked to yell at other college students? I'm confused. I got to be careful.
I'm going to be the first guy to tell you that I'm not okay religious and I'm not okay with what happened, but I have yet to have somebody play me something where I heard him being overly offensive. I've not heard
I've yet to hear a clip for him where I felt like I learned anything. He's in there yelling stuff loudly.
Incredibly well spoken, and
it's like listening to devils that are well spoken. Nothing.
Me no like.
Oh yes, it does, Phil. Charlie, it absolutely does. How do you think Obama became the fucking president of the United States?
I'm not saying. I'm not saying
these are well spoken guys. Doesn't mean they're fucking qualified.
I'm not saying it won't get you anywhere. I'm saying that doesn't make you a good or bad person.
No,
I
agree with 100%.
That. Phil's right about that.
I didn't say he was a good or bad person. I wasn't making judgment on that. All I'm saying is, no. I think
he was a bad person. Prove me wrong.
I've listened to people that were against him.
You just said he was extremely well spoken. That's a compliment.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I think he's well spoken.
I definitely think he was.
Agree with him.
I think it was very charismatic. He very much spoke like a minister at a rally.
Hitler
but that's
was
also how he was
well-spoken?
trained.
Yeah,
I don't think he presented anything in particularly
Hitler was another one
or
that had
thoughtful way. But
a lot of charisma. Obviously, he didn't get to where he got without having charisma.
Yeah,
you know, that's how people get. Donald Trump has a lot of charisma. It doesn't mean I agree with anything that he does. I mean,
exactly.
But yes,
I
but I don't think Donald Trump's well spoken. I mean, I don't know that anybody's ever said that.
Yeah, like Nick Fuentes is a little evil gremlin psycho, but you know he's got a certain kind of craft with the English language.
I just wanted there to be some separation between well spoken and the rest of you.
Oh, well spoken versus being thoughtful or a moral human being. He's not. Yeah, no.
That's different.
Never mind.
That's a whole different argument. But I think
when you say a person is well spoken and stop, and there's no other.
Hold on.
I like this dude. I support him.
No. Yeah. By definition, the fact that he was almost 100% focused around his brand of Christianity I can't be in agreement with him. Okay, that's
a profoundly simplistic and incredibly capitalist version of Christianity.
Yep,
the kind of thing that I think if Christ walked into one of his Tipusa rallies would overturn the.
But I think on the other side, people started coming out against him, saying, "Oh, he said, you know, these incredibly abusive things, and he yelled, and he didn't. I never.
He just did, dude.
Yeah, I've never a lot.
I'll feed you some stuff, man. Dude, he was a racist goofball.
Send me it. I've never seen.
He was a kid too. Like that was also the thing. I never took him too seriously. I'm like, he's what 24. I forget how young he was. I'm like, man, come on, dude. It's a shame we're platforming someone that young.
Every time I listened to him and he talk about things before he was born, it was like, okay, he read that because I lived it and the nuance of it was totally different than what he's saying.
And he got such simplistic takes on things.
And
he got the most surface basic things.
You summed it up. He read it. The guy was a prolific reader and a prolific taking in.
No, he wasn't.
Information. Oh, yeah, he was.
He wasn't well read at all. What are you talking about?
Not read well at all. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no. We'll start. Well, we're going to do
he just like a lot of preachers, people mistakenly think they're well read. No, I went to theology school and was taught to
cite a source. Please.
And he was somebody at an early age that they brought up. So in that
he was mentored. He was, what was his name? Something McDonald. I think it was like William McDonald. I forget that guy.
Right. He was
the conservative businessman. Yeah.
To do what he did, but outside of that, he was.
He was singly focused. There's no. Yes, he had a.
But I'm saying
to be a troll, to like get attention by being controversial.
There are a lot of
sitting there going,
Mike, if you practice just when a person says this is the reply. When they give this retort, this is mine. You don't have to be intelligent or nothing.
And anytime he wasn't sitting there standing up against an 18-year-old, he just got his ass handed to him.
Exactly. Yeah. It was always
anyone who was even marginally informed on the issue.
I can't believe you're defending him because I don't
believe you are too.
Also, I'm sick to my stomach about it.
It's because Mike grew up in a household where he had a big crush on Tammy Faye Baker. Do you remember her?
Oh yeah.
And so he sort of like has a thing for Erica Kirk because of his Tammy Faye Baker. Mike's earliest sexual awakening was to Sunday morning Tammy Faye Baker episodes.
I think you better start getting afraid of their organization, though. I think you're poo-pooing them a little bit too much.
So something I want to ask you guys:
they are super powerful.
They're like, well, I mean, I grew up in that
growing.
World. Yeah, I grew up in that world.
Respect for them.
So I want to ask you guys a question. Can I ask you guys a little bit as a first-time caller, long-time listener, big fan of both of y'all? How come you guys never? What's up with the lack of women on your show? I mean, we know why from Mike, but Phil, like, what's up? What's going on?
I got a wife. I got a wife upstairs.
Man, that makes sense. That makes
She
sense.
can hear this whole conversation.
Yeah, I want to ask her. I want to know
So
why.
I ain't trying to have no women on here and me arguing with them, and my wife hear me arguing with some woman other than her.
Nah, fair enough.
And that's
fair.
not true. We've had plenty of women on the show.
Yeah, one of our
I know.
favorite
I'm just
guests
giving you
is
shit.
Candy Skihan. We have her on all the time.
I know. Candy's amazing. I love her. I'm
Yeah.
just giving you guys shit. It's my job too.
No,
I love you guys. As your one viewer on TikTok.
So
right.
I'm glad you asked that because I'm going to reveal something about some interactions with some women about this.
Oh boy.
I've had women who've had very strong political opinions, and they'll give them to me offline, and they have one way or another, I'm paraphrasing, basically said, I don't want to be on the show because I don't want to be cornered.
Interesting. Oh, that makes sense. That tracks.
So
I can see that.
Nobody likes to. Women are generally in environments where they use their femininity as part of the argument. We never push them past a certain point usually.
Well, maybe it's also like
and they know they're
doing a good
get
job of.
In.
Maybe it's like we're more aggressive in our conversational style. We need to do a better job of like.
You're doing exactly what they were saying. Y'all butter it up. No,
makes sense.
We get to the point they don't.
Oh, that's not my experience. And I grew up with 3 sisters and 9 aunts.
Oh God!
I mean, they get to the point repeatedly and beat the shit out of me.
And my mom and sister both won state championships in basketball. They over 6 feet tall. There's anomalies.
It's interesting. I'll ask a few of my overlanded friends that. Okay.
That's an interesting perspective. Like,
I meant it as a joke.
We get the opposite.
Most of your friends are extremely politically correct. They not gonna cross that. That's my whole point. Most men ain't gonna cross that politically correct line. You doing it right now because you know better. You have even experienced the fury of one. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So stop that.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, I don't mind cross. I mean, it's also fun to step into the overlanding space.
Mike, that need to be
conservative.
That need to be the whole podcast.
Yeah, I think I would love to watch that episode. Mike and Phil explain women.
The pussification of men. I literally see men bow down in conversations all the time, and they consider themselves manly for doing that.
And you're saying they won't do it if they come on the podcast and there was no woman on here. In other words, if we invited 2 guests on here, a woman and a man, the man is going to act differently with the woman on the podcast.
Yes. That's a fact.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that says more about the man than it does about the woman, though.
It does.
It does.
It does.
I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm saying
that's why he just called it the pussification of the man.
I don't feel like anything we shared in this conversation. I don't know. Maybe I would say it different. I don't know. It's interesting. I'll think about this.
You just did. You just said you ain't ever seen a woman like that. And I'm like,
no, I was saying like I said on the show. I want it on the show. Interesting. Sorry, I meant that as a joke, and this got all serious and reflective.
See,
I like to give serious answers.
It's interesting to think about like the idea of like you don't want to have a situation where you're down yelling and arguing with women and your wife has to listen upstairs. Oh man, married life. Phil.
No, that comes back to the pussification thing.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I'm not going to be seen that way in front of my wife.
Oh, interesting. So you don't
seen that and never will see that.
That's interesting. All right, interesting.
And
positioning thing. All right.
Most guys these days are so pussy that they would never have that stance. They ain't capable of having that stance.
Interesting.
You want me to make it?
I don't feel that personally, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, I'll break this down to something real simple that all us nomads will understand.
Okay.
There's Jeeps and there's Toyotas, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Just If I wanted to do off-road stuff and off-road is my primary interest, which one should I pick?
Jeep.
Cheap. It's no
A
question.
Volkswagen van again.
I said between the two. Okay.
Yeah.
I meet men all the time. I interview people. I'm constantly asking people questions. I meet them. I'm a majority of the men that I meet that own Toyota 4Runners that are in the overland community. The reason they own them is because that's the vehicle they could bring home without an argument. And then they could slowly update it until
that's definitely Sir William goes. He definitely
more comfort, more.
It's definitely William. He definitely doesn't have a vehicle for like. Yeah, he doesn't have a vehicle for like going anywhere or doing anything.
He's the exception.
He's just getting a vehicle. He just has a 4Runner for the ladies.
Right. But the majority of guys, I'm talking about like they're married. They can't just be like, I want a Jeep. Go get the Jeep.
No, makes sense. Makes sense.
You're like, what's the vehicle? Even though she may never get in it.
Well, that's so fascinating because like I know so many women who own Jeeps. Anyway, anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Like Candy, we're talking about.
Those are anomalies.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. You're speaking to a thing that
somebody that want to get up off this. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm uninformed on the vehicle preferences of women in the overlanding community. I only know it from the van community.
No,
I know vans.
See, you're talking about where a couple they're both into it. You have to. I'm like I said, I interview them. A lot of women are there to be an obstacle to it all.
Mm-hmm.
They want him.
Interesting.
I could offline tell you of. I know of where.
I feel like this is an entire episode, Phil.
Strategically gotten pregnant to get off of the road. I know somebody that was in South America and in the middle of the trip had to come home because she got pregnant. And the only reason she got pregnant leading up to it, she was complaining.
Mm-hmm.
She got knocked up to get out of having to do the trip.
Yeah, and they went. He got a house, and he no longer part of the community and everything.
Now, okay, Phil, let me ask you this: do you think it's a personality type? Because what I found is you're talking about women that are in coupled relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What about solo? Okay, because I find 70% of solo travelers are women. Is that a different breed?
What is your question about them?
Well, meaning is it more of a personality type that would be a coupled in a relationship with a guy as opposed to just women in general?
So what I've observed, which is really crazy, is most of the solo women don't want to be involved in a relationship. Or they may be gay, or they are so scarred from a relationship. They're looking. The whole reason they're on the road is they want time from civilization.
They're trying to find themselves.
Yes.
We got a whole van life community of women trying to find themselves through fucking breath work somehow.
And then on the men's side,
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's some energy healing
and then
chakra alignment happening in that community. There's a lot of present setting. Go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
Y'all gonna pretend like this part don't exist, but on the men's side, like y'all don't even be interested in dating solo women travelers.
Right.
I have. Last few women I've dated have been solo.
Anomaly. Most of the full-time solo guys don't really mess with the solo women.
I would agree with that.
We're speaking in generalities, and like it's really hard to know.
That's the only way we can.
It's not. It is, but also like it's one of those things where like because it's such generalities, and even though I feel like I have a particular privileged position because of what I've done in the community,
I can tell you a story opposite of it. So I understand it's not everybody. I'm telling you where I'm not just telling you what I casually observe. I'm telling you what I literally have taken this over thing as a journalistic pursuit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm constantly asking questions. I'm constantly observing, taking notes. And this is a 15-year observation.
My read on it is that like two human beings coming together, regardless of gender,
is
oh boy,
Kind of
Oh
like
boy.
lightning striking. It's like it's so. And I've got two parents who've been together for freaking 50 years now at this point. Like,
Okay.
I don't understand the who, what, where, when, and how it happens, why it happens. It feels like beautiful and wonderful. And this and children are the whole reason why this damn chaos keeps rolling. I don't understand when it happens, why it happens, systematizing it. I definitely look for patterns because that's what we do as, you know,
Humans.
as apes that look for patterns. I have a hard time looking at it, Phil, and seeing the pattern amongst. I definitely have seen, like, as a single person who got into van life after a breakup as a way to handle some of the trauma of that. I've definitely seen that as a thing that has happened. That's certainly not everyone. I've definitely seen couples who roll in and then couples who break up. And at this point, every variation.
I've seen all of it too.
But have you been tallying?
But I would say if I were to generalize,
you got a spreadsheet and like Google Docs somewhere you want to share with me? Like,
I think Phil's
I want to see. Like, I'll add a few to that.
More often than not, men travelers do not want to date single female travelers. I think
that has not been my experience at all. But I do think, Phil, if you and I were to engage in some sort of like sociological, anthropological study of the mating rituals of the overlanding / van life / nomadic person, I think we should just do a breakdown of Mike's dating life and who he's been with. And like, I feel like that should be exhibit A.
But listen for a second. What I mean, hold on. And I think there's a reason for that, though. Like, and I'll use myself as an example. I look at
3% battery left.
No. Listen, it takes a special breed to be a nomad, anyways.
Yes,
and I think you could scare yourself. So you know, trying to get into a relationship with somebody else that's doing it, you already realize that they're crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's not been my experience that like every damn human being is a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
Tweaked.
I don't know shit. I don't know.
Tweaked.
My other major.
I'm the wrong person to ask about this. All I know is I've been going with my gut for the last 25 years, and I've come to one conclusion: my gut's got shit for brains.
So let's see if you agree with. Let's see what you agree with this last observation.
I stole that line from a movie.
Yeah.
Female solo travelers, international solo travelers, crossing the borders.
Yep.
Generally have a extremely low success rate with the locals versus the men. If we looked at solo male travelers and solo female travelers that attempt to date the locals, the men are extremely more successful versus the women. I'm talking about for serious relationships.
So how do you feel like you can know this with any sort of like?
Because I talk to people all over the world and I ask.
But is that a meaningful sample size? Like,
it's more meaningful than a person that says I dispute it and they ain't got no sample size.
See, I was going to argue with you when you said they have less success, because I would argue
that's what I'm saying. They have less success. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I was going to argue with you because I thought you were going down the road of less success, you know, interacting. But I would argue that women are better travelers than men, just in general.
I'm talking about as far as I'm trying to literally meet somebody and date them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Not hit the walls. No.
Yeah, no, I think from what I've seen, most of them have returned back home to find their guy.
There have been more men that travel internationally that come home with a wife than a woman travel internationally come home with a husband. I'm not talking about just sleeping around. If it's sleeping around, we can't compete.
No, you can't compete on that. No, that was a big lesson for me to learn.
I'm talking about if they're like, I'm tired of American men. I'm going to wherever. They come back telling a story because I interview them. And they're like, it was nothing like what I thought. Yes, they wanted to sleep with me, but they had no interest in anything other.
You know, Phil, like my only read on this is that like every time I've started banking CPU cycles and brain power down this line of thinking, it gets harder and harder to
You
feel
get
like I have a
confused.
firm. Yeah, I'm just like, you know what, like. It's like I'm sowing seeds in a field I can never harvest
Yeah.
of knowledge. So
and my
I don't
source
have anything on
pool,
it. I got nothing on it. You know,
my source pool is a lot longer than I think you thinking. I've been traveling since I
I don't
was
have any thoughts on it, is what I'm
19.
saying. Yeah,
And so that's about 40 plus years of traveling,
yeah.
crossing borders.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
see.
read that
I
book.
went to
I
I
see
Japan when
that.
I
volunteer to
was
edit
19.
it. I volunteer to edit it. I'll edit it.
I would agree with you, Phil. From traveling around the world and going through Africa and whatnot. I see that. I can see that.
Love in the
I mean,
time of driving the globe.
it's not that much dissimilar to say like wars and stuff where soldiers have gone overseas and brought back women, right?
Mhm.
You just compare yourself with like the veterans of World War II.
No. But what I'm
World War
saying is the success rate, I
the
think,
greatest
of
joke.
men
Yeah.
traveling and finding women in different places is higher than women doing it. Yes, I
So,
would agree
Mike,
with that.
why do you think that is? Why is their success rate so low?
Well, because I think some of it, and I know I'm going to get people mad, is that I think men. I know this is super generalized, and everybody's going to hate me, but I think
I already
men
know what you're
travel
about to say.
This is not why everyone's
Well,
going to hate you.
I think men there's a lot of reasons. No, I think men travel more for adventure, and I think women travel more for discovery.
I agree with that.
And I think
Self-discovery? Do you mean self-discovery?
a
Sometimes.
lot of self-discovery and just
Like
discovery
hashtag
in
eat, pray,
general.
love? Like hashtag eat, pray, love?
Yeah,
Sort of
and I
thing?
think what they find, and because of that, they are
Interesting.
more introspective. They're looking at themselves more. So I think that it's harder for them to see on the outside, whereas guys are more on a venture. They're looking outside. They're not looking internally that much.
I agree
Yeah,
with
it's
what
like,
you
is
said, but I
there a
don't think that's the
female?
predominant reason at all.
Okay, what do you think the predominant reason is?
Man, Venus
So
Paul's pretty
let me
introspective.
let me qualify what I'm saying. I am only talking about women from first world countries.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I know where you're going.
When
now.
they go to other countries, the men want to sleep with them, but they don't want to deal with them. They ain't with all of this modern woman stuff here at all.
Right.
So it's actually a red flag when they are interested in them, because it's generally they looking to move to America.
Because first world countries are the anomaly, right? They're not normal. Like most places, if you were to look at the overall world, it's a men's world in general, like with the exception of United States and Europe.
United
It's the
States
way
isn't
it
America.
is. What's that?
Nothing.
Well, meaning that like our culture is more recognizing of equal opportunity between the sexes.
Yeah.
As opposed to almost every country I can name in Africa or the Middle East or Asia, even, anywhere really.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So I think they're
Interesting.
intimidated. Maybe that's one of the words you're looking for, Phil. The guys
Josiah
are going to be
is so highly intelligent that it is blowing me away, him trying to pretend like he don't know what we talking about right now.
Phil.
Josiah,
I know.
Anytime your
what
name
you're
comes up,
Phil.
my
I know.
response is he is one of the most intelligent, humble dudes I've ever talked to. And I only call you humble is because you pretend like you stupid. That's your game. And that's what you're doing
How
right
often
now.
does my name come up in Rhode Island?
No, when I go to the back door on Fridays, your name comes up all the time.
That's fair.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
No, it's like I feel like I've spent a lot of time grinding or just in this particular arena of thought, and
Well, you have to take yourself out of it.
Yeah, but I don't know what to take away. Like I don't know what I'm trying to get out of stewing on that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm all for like having fun, making fun of folks who thought pink hats were a meaningful protest after Trump got elected. You know, if I could be juvenile for a second
Yeah.
about something that I think is juvenile, but like trying to like, God damn, I'm not a sociologist, psychologist, anthropologist to even begin to try to. I mean, and believe me, I've fucking tried
I will
to like
concede that to you.
divine patterns of dating and
I never
courtship
thought you
rituals
were
and
good
their
with the women, so I never. I
yeah, I mean,
agree.
I don't fucking know what I'm doing, man.
I agree.
Like I just yeah, I'm oh man, shit. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just like I don't know. Like yeah. If I see somebody I like, I just go talk to them. Like, and I try to be respectful as best I can. We fumble along, and yeah, I've picked up on patterns where it feels like, gosh, here's a simplistic trait, and by no means don't slap me in the face for thinking this, but like in certain places, it feels like women here in Mexico are nicer in a certain way than American women. And I'll hear that said by other American dudes traveling down here. And I'm just like, well, is that actually the case? What does that even mean? Like, I mean, but people throw it out in this like very trite and flippant kind of way as valuing one over the other. And I am curious, like, what in the American culture has made me the way I am and other folks the way they are. And what are the
Mike,
differences between here and Mexico and Latin culture versus hell, Argentina and Buenos Aires, where we had a really awesome one from there. Still my friend. We talk about this stuff a lot. And fuck, man, I don't know. I just try to stay humble about this shit.
Mike,
And I feel very out of my depth very quickly with it all.
do you see any difference in your treatment by women romantically in other countries?
He just loves being called Poppy. It's his favorite thing.
More specifically, Phil, what do you mean by that? Like, I mean, I see the difference.
However you want to take it.
To what Josiah was just saying, I see the difference between there's a huge cultural difference, I think, between, let's say, just take as an example right now, Mexican women and American women. They're not anywhere near the same.
I agree with that.
And that's just, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Like, Americans have a developed, interesting, unique culture that has been etched in. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it revolves around a lot of fake things. A lot of social media, a lot of news, a lot of opinion, a lot of feeling one up in the next person. I mean, our American culture is big. We're built on big, better, bigger. And women are no exception to that.
I definitely do feel like, I mean, we literally have, like, in the most concrete, absolute, undeniable of terms, a sexual offender, rapist, potentially pedophile in the White House, almost certainly. So because of that, like in the highest office of the land, I feel
we just made a left turn here somewhere.
No, I'm making a point. So I definitely have an enormous amount of like what that like. I'm just like, can you imagine being a woman and like that's the guy running things right now? Like that has to be horrific.
But Josiah, half the women in the country support it.
Now, yeah, imagine that. Oh my God.
I imagine it, and it's the natural thing.
Yeah, and it's fucking crazy. And so then I'm sitting there going like, and then I see a lot of comments on like threads and the rest where they're just like all men this, all men that. The male loneliness epidemic it's not my job to help men feel lonely. I'm like, the male loneliness epidemic isn't about a woman making you not feel lonely.
Right.
It's about the fact that we've recognized that there's this thing called toxic masculinity, which for the longest time was the way in which we found meaning and community and purpose and the rest.
What is toxic masculinity? Because I don't know.
We'll get there. It just infused all these systems that we existed in. And now we're sitting there going like, well, those systems are bullshit. We got to find a new thing. What? bowling leagues that don't exist anymore. I got an overlanding podcast with Mike and Phil, and that feels pretty cool.
Yep.
You know, like,
Could you tell me
anyway.
what toxic masculinity is? Because I hear it
So-
and nobody ever tells me what it is. So
Okay. Essentially, it's that the idea that the political, legal, cultural, and economic systems in which we live and were raised in as men encouraged a mindset and a sense of self and a way of interacting with the world that was harmful to people that weren't men. And it's something that we're trying to unlearn and evolve out of. Does that make sense?
Things are now.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% that's the way things are now. We got a fucking rapist in the White House. Until that ain't the norm.
But what are we comparing this to, Josiah? I mean, I would argue America is the least, whatever you just said, of any country in the world.
Hey, you know that thing about that little speck of white on top of a pile of bird shit? It's still bird shit, man.
Yeah. I get it.
So what? And the thing is, like, we can sit there and go, here's the thing, we can say,
well, I'm only eating
things are broken. Yeah, we just like, let's just keep working on making it better. That's what we do as dudes. We fix things, we repair things, we tinker. Let's just be shitty on things. I'm not like hurt by the idea of like, I grew up in a place where like people were going like women shouldn't go to college because women belong in the home.
Yeah, which is, by the way,
now we got
the world still thinks that.
I know, and we got Pete Hegseth, our freaking secretary of douchebaggery / war / beer pong / keg stands, who's sitting there talking about how, like, at the church he went to, sitting there going, like, yeah, you know, women shouldn't vote anymore. What?
So, do you think the average guy is masculine? Has masculine toxicity?
Of course we do. Just like the average white dude's got racist bullshit. It's just the world we were raised in. It's a spectrum. It's benign versus malignant. You know this, Phil. I'm not speaking something new. Yeah, you know, like it's not.
I don't agree.
You know,
we all
got shit in us.
Polar opposites of this conversation right here.
I mean, you know, okay, so Phil, you
keep working on Phil,
and so in fairness, Phil and I had a podcast in the past about this kind of topic a little bit.
What was it called? What was his name?
Well, we watched what was the movie? What was the name of the movie we watched? The series there on the TV.
Oh, the Petito lady?
No.
Gabby Petito,
the one that just won the award, the Oscars or whatever. The movie, the with the kid that went to jail.
Adolescence.
Oh man, that film was amazing.
Yeah,
that TV series is amazing, incredible.
I feel sorry for the boy who played the boy.
Like the actor?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't explain myself. No, I feel sorry for him because I think he may have given his greatest performance for a TV show. That was Oscar worthy.
Oh yeah,
it was amazing, unbelievable. Sure. Yeah, unbelievable.
But you know, so Phil, you don't think that? See, I think Josiah is painting a really negative picture of this. That I think you're.
It's also nuanced.
Just because we have Donald Trump in the White House does not mean that I'm like him.
Exactly. And also the idea that like it's not just sort of like an either or. It's not a binary thing. It's not a like toxic masculinity is all of these things, and because we all have some participation in that, therefore we have all of it. Like I've never had any sort of like inclination towards underage women or something like that, or like sexual, like power dynamics in that kind of way. But because that is an aspect of toxic masculinity, doesn't mean that I'm like, okay. Now at the same time, I've definitely had moments when I was younger where somebody say, "Oh, I was sexually assaulted." I'm like, "Well, were you drunk at the time?" Like you ask those sort of like infantile and incredibly unhelpful questions about that sort of situation. And so like they're just like, but that's okay because it's
so you
okay
don't think that's ever a reality?
No, absolutely it is. But the idea is like that isn't the first thing you jump to when you're presented with that thing. Why not? The question should be what's true and what's real. What's factual about that situation? Like when somebody comes,
a good question to ask to obtain that information.
I think you wait a little bit when somebody's sitting there going and sharing when they've been sexually assaulted.
Feelings. It ain't about Okay, I get it.
What do you mean? Like, it's all feelings are absolutely a thing, but I was saying like it's about what's facts. Like, okay, what happened? Like, if you're sitting there sharing with me what happened, give me the story. And just because somebody was drunk doesn't mean that they ought, like, that doesn't justify the behavior of another human being when they do that sort of stuff. But we're getting down to the weeds.
Later in context, it may be that she did something to me while and again,
she was
drunk.
I was just bringing that up as an example of a way to approach a situation where there might be a much more mature, healthy, and less toxic way to when somebody goes and shares what was one of the most
succeeded in doing that though.
Or maybe I didn't. That's fair. But when somebody goes and shares one of the most vulnerable and traumatic experiences of your life, you don't immediately go and like, well, what did you do wrong in that situation? Right. Like, that's what I was trying to do, is bring up an example of way, like, just listen
I
and
understand,
hear that. See what I'm saying?
But I'm thinking we're talking about, who are we talking about asking that question?
Nobody right now is using it. When you were asking, like, am I somehow inherently bad because I participate in a culture that has toxic masculinity that's woven throughout it? I mean, remember, dude, women weren't allowed to vote a century ago and all this. So, like, the civil rights, like, there's all these
going back to in your lifetime, none of this stuff. There's none of that.
When were women allowed to have a checking account? Give me the year. I know it.
It's like
in the 70s, man. 74.
Okay.
82 is when they're that's the number. Yeah.
Were you born?
Yeah, man. It's almost your lifetime. And now we're rolling that shit back.
You older than I thought.
Roe v. Wade got booted. Like, they're fucking coming for it. Yeah, Pete Hegseth sitting there going, like, women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
But what are we comparing to? I mean, so if
we don't need to compare
America
it to anything,
toxic
man.
What the hell does Afghanistan have?
Why do you need to compare it? What do you? This isn't like the World Cup where you're sitting there trying to pick a team to win, man.
It's just
this is about us being better. This is just us living in the country with.
It's called contrast. You need contrast to be able to see something.
I think it's really wonderful to sit there for me to go and look at Muslim countries and to go, and I'll say this bluntly, like, I don't have any fucking desire to live in certain fundamentalist Muslim countries, but I got no desire to live in a fundamentalist religious Christian country, because I grew up in those churches and they didn't want women to have the same rights as men, and they certainly as hell treated men like shit and reinforced a super fucked up. Because guess what? Make believe is a really terrible thing to base your morality on, and the way to treat other people.
But I feel like you're painting a picture of us of America worse than it really is.
Absolutely.
Whoa. We can say that toxic masculinity is a feature of the American system, while at the same time going, like, we've done some really, really cool shit. Like, more than one thing can be true. Why we talk all day long about things I love about the United States of America.
Josiah,
okay, our national anthem slaps. I love blowing shit up on the 4th of July.
Josiah, when I first asked you this question, I was sincere in the question, and I specifically asked you because I thought you were capable of giving me an answer finally.
Okay, what was can you reframe the question?
No, I'm not saying you didn't give me an answer, but you were giving me this ideology, this big picture thing, and I never hear that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
But when I hear the word used, it's not used about how things are governed or teachings in religion or anything like that. I hear it most often used, almost exclusively, that just men are toxic. And I'm asking, what is it that the everyday man does? And I'm not saying they don't exist. I just want to know what they are. What is it that the everyday dude is doing so toxic?
I mean, that's a really, how do you expect me to speak for every single man in the United States?
I didn't think you could, and I don't think I can. But I'm like, I keep hearing it talked that way, and I'm thinking everybody who says it can't do that. So why is it used?
Why is the term used, toxic masculinity?
Why is it used in the way that I'm saying? It's not used in the way that you're saying all the time. It's mostly
so when you read somebody online say something like all men.
I'm talking about just like now, it's reached a point. I live in a liberal state. So
sure.
I can go to Starbucks and just sit long enough, and eventually I'll hear somebody referencing the word toxic masculinity, and it'll be something like 2 boys were being too competitive in the playground. And I'm serious. They mean they were actually just being too competitive. What the fuck does that mean?
I definitely do think that like
it's overused.
It's also like it's not a perfectly defined term and set of things, and there's debate on what that is.
So
and
how can we stop it? Because I'm not even trying to say it don't exist. I'm not trying to say I'm not even it. But how do we get to a solution if y'all can't even tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Phil, I think it's less about like, I don't know you well enough to speak to you to say, Phil, I think this is an aspect of who you are that maybe is worth examining as a thing. I certainly feel like probably the most important relationship of your life is between you and your wife, of which I have no knowledge of and no exposure to. She's probably got all sorts of things where she's like, Phil, you're a stubborn one. I don't know. Like she's probably got something. I have somebody to listen to, not me. You know, like, and maybe some of those things in your interpersonal dynamics are things that are an expression of what some people would include in a set of things that are commonly occurring as American men that we would call toxic masculinity. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have that knowledge to do that. I do think that people use toxic masculinity sometimes in an unfair way. I do definitely think sometimes I read on threads where I see men suck, all this sort of thing. And I definitely feel a little bit of a sting because I also have very much of self-loathing, guilt complex because of how I was raised and the rest. And I internalize that sort of stuff when I read it, some of which is fair, some of which is not. I wonder, I overthink a lot of that sort of stuff. And I definitely sometimes go like, look, toxic? Man. Oh, I certainly know I've done absolutely toxic things in my life. Undoubtedly, unquestionably. Like my mother would say I have. My sister would say I have. Like those are things I've apologized for. I probably owe some people apologies for things that have been toxic. But like, I don't say that in some sort of way where I'm like, oh, I'm unique in that way or whatever. I just go like, oh, that's something I wish that like now because I understand better. I was coming from a place of hurt or trauma or thoughtlessness or whatever. Like we all do. I show myself forgiveness and grace in that way, but also like.
But do you consider yourself masculine and being toxic? I understand that you've done it, but do you consider yourself toxic?
I think it is impossible for any man to exist in the perfect state of being a human being, and that evolves over time anyway. You know, like I grew up.
Don't you think you could also say toxic femininity?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
But guess what? I'm a dude, so I'm interested in solving my shit.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to live with me, and no one else can do it. So I'm interested in solving that stuff. Like, I remember
I think the solution is we need to actually come up with it like bullet points. And I understand this nuance and all of that stuff.
Honestly, I feel like it needs to be a bunch of dudes hanging out.
For the average person, they need to see some actual, I need to stop doing this behavior. Instead
There's some good things. Dude, freaking stop. Like, stop. Can we please stop sending? Here's a real basic one that blows my mind that this happens. And I don't really get it. Like, I do not understand the unsolicited dick pic thing. Can we just not send women pictures of our dicks? I don't think you've ever done that, Phil. That doesn't seem like a Phil. Well, Mike, absolutely.
No. I don't understand. You know
what I'm saying?
Why anybody would do that?
We'll never
you're right. But yet I talk to all these women and they get it all the fucking time.
All the time. We'll never get to that point, but there should
Let's work on it. Let's work on it.
If you send it, there needs to be like a size limit, because I've had women do the same thing that you said, show me the pictures, and I'm like, wow, this dude is brave to send this picture.
I don't get it, man. I don't understand it. My mother would beat the shit out of me. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why would you? I'm just so confused at it.
I've looked at the picture.
I feel so bad when I've been.
I'm like, bro, this defeats your purpose.
That's a good, I think, so one of the things I think we could do is like, I do think that there's like an opportunity right now, culturally and socially, for like dudes to hang out and go like, hey, look, so we've been hearing from the ladies that we probably shouldn't send them unsolicited dick pics. Let's stop doing that.
But we know that ain't what happens.
Yeah, we know that. Oh, here's another one. I'm blown away at the existence of what do they call it? Revenge porn. People who post nudes from exes and stuff on websites and stuff. I'm like, wait, what? Like, that blew my fucking mind. Like, people do that. It's so dumb and insane and evil and a violation of all that is good and beautiful. Are they doing it though
because they're men, or they're
I
just
don't know,
people?
man. I don't know, but but it's like, it's most.
Because I got to imagine women do that too.
Yeah, but it's dudes in a much higher clip than women do. But it's also like worth having a conversation about. Like, I don't know. It's not a blow to my ego to talk about that.
Right.
So I just think that's the opportunity, the thing for us to like come together a little bit and like be men and go like, yo, dumbass, youngins, don't do.
I ain't never thought it was cool.
Just don't do that. Yeah, I never thought. But there's other things like I used to use the F word talking about gay folks. I think we all grew up in that thing, and then I've had a really good gay friend who's like, that's really hurtful.
Oh,
when you use the F word, you know what I'm saying?
Used the word in so long, I had to think.
Exactly.
I thought you were saying I don't use the fuck word. I was like, what? What's wrong with fuck?
No. But dude, now you got this generation of like comics who want it to come back, and you're just like, dude, let it go. Who gives a shit? It costs us nothing to not say that.
So, question.
Man, go ahead.
Is it important to you that comedians all of a sudden become politically correct?
I don't even know what that means. What's politically correct?
Exactly what.
Who's in charge right now?
There's a word that we've determined is a terrible word and we shouldn't use it anymore. And you just stated that they want to.
I don't think that's a politically correct issue because the president of the United States of America and the majority of Americans are okay with using that word. But I'm not.
I'm not. Majority of.
I think you don't hear that
word. I don't know, man.
I don't think you understand my question. I'm on your side on this. It's despicable.
I think that there are ways to use that word sometimes by super nuanced and intelligent people who can pull it off.
Maybe I should ask it a different way. Once we've determined certain words have a certain something that goes with it that's negative.
Yeah.
Are you saying that comedians should follow suit?
I don't think the idea of should, I don't like, because it's the idea of like me telling them, like they have a choice. They could use that word if they want to.
What would you prefer in a society?
It's not that a question of prefer. I'm not offended when they use it. I just go like, all right, well, this guy might be a dumbass. Was his joke funny? What was the point he was trying to make?
It's not funny then. Yeah.
Is he funny? Is it not? Like, the thing is, like, if somebody sits there and goes like, he might have to deal with the consequences of that. Like, he might have offended a bunch of people on that whole thing. Should they have offended or not? I don't know, but they are. He's got to deal with it. So I'm not interested in like
the reason why
personally telling people what they should or shouldn't say. There's just what's going to bother people or not.
The reason why I ask, because I think the word is despicable too, but I can think of a zillion jokes.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And use the words and use it correctly.
Yes.
And it's not offensive.
Sure. Yeah. It would, because we don't mean it in that way. But I've had enough gay friends who share with me the hurt that word has caused them. And I'm just like, you know what? For me, it's like a cost benefits analysis. Does it do more harm than good sort of thing? And I don't need it to live and exist in this world in a happy way, to use that term. So I'm happy to let it go, because that just means I'm not hurting somebody with my use of it. And that feels like an okay choice on my part.
There's a word that's directed at my group that would fit in this same kind of category. And
boomer?
Comedians want it.
Sorry, I'm fucking with you. I know you're Gen X.
No, I'm a boomer.
Are you really?
Yes.
Fuck, man.
Anyway,
it's because your people's known age. You just stay handsome for so long.
That's right.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
What was I talking about? You threw me.
You're talking about the N word. I think you were talking about that.
Oh yeah. So I'm against it. I cringe when I hear it in raps. I cringe when I hear it in conversations. But I would never want an artist to not have that in his arsenal. I wouldn't and I wouldn't want to police it in how he uses it. And I'm not just talking about black comedians. I'm talking about the white racist comedian.
Interesting.
I want him to get up on the mic and tell that racist joke.
You're like, let that fucker out into the sunlight so we can fucking burn him to the ground. I like it.
because
Yeah.
art is subjective. Because I know a lot of gay people. I grew up as a DJ and went to clubs where it was almost nothing but them growing up.
Yeah.
So I understand the culture totally. And
Interesting.
I know gay people who hear gay jokes and are not offended. I'm not saying they're the majority or the minority.
Sure.
But it's your sensibility in comedy. I don't want a comedian. There are comedians that disgust me, but I don't want them to stop tell your disgusting stuff to your disgusting people, and I just won't go to your thing.
Yeah, I mean that's been how I feel about it. Like I've definitely there's been some comedians that are considered the GOAT right now that for some reason can't let the trans thing go, and I feel like it's hackish right now. Like it's cheap. Everyone's telling the same dumb joke over to her penis.
It's
just
very
like, come
simple.
on.
The reason why it keeps coming up is because it's the most clickable thing. If you attack, if you attack them in any kind of way, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that jump on board.
Yeah, and then it annoys me because I'm just like, all right, well then it's just a hack. It's a gimmick. I'm like, take the time to do something. Yeah, come on. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I feel I'm an art. I tell them like this all the time. I consider myself an artist first, and I'm not going to ever get into interpreting what a person should or should not do in art.
Yeah,
right. Because we're all free to choose to listen to it or not listen to it, or look at it or not look at it. And I'm with you. They can do what they want to do. I'm not going to. I don't want to listen to it.
I am one of them subsets that they attack verbally with these kind of words. So I'm not like on the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. I cringe when I hear them from certain people's lips and the way it's delivered and everything. So I get that, but I'm not going to try to get that dude canceled. I'm just not going to.
No. That is a little like it's real easy to go like, all right, I'm not listening to that shit. But people love to be outraged. They love superiority.
That's also the flip side of why there's a lot
Humans love that.
That's why there's a lot of bandwagoning behind it too.
Oh, yeah. The mob is crazy.
People feel like, okay, yeah, that dude says something wrong, but you're trying to ruin his life.
Yeah. It doesn't interest me as a thing, but also like I haven't felt the personal desire to like I don't have a strong opinion either way on whether or not they ought to like go after certain folks.
See, I hate the cancel thing. I can't stand it. Both sides have tried it.
Yeah, I don't fully get it. I'm just like, what are you going after here? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
When you guys get off of here, Google Patrice O'Neal.
Oh yeah.
And there's a
legendary.
He's on a CNN, and a person is interviewing him about the R word, grape. And the lady is like, "Is it ever possible for you to talk about that and for it to be funny?" And he was like, "Of course." And she thought she had got you, and she was like, "Well, tell one." He told one, and all the cameramen and everybody in the joint started roaring in laughter. So my point is, I believe that don't go there, but recognize that don't eliminate the word totally. There is a funny joke with the F word.
You've got to
are not telling it.
Yeah, you got to know how to do it. You've got to have something really thoughtful. Yeah, I mean, that's not me. I've never. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't miss the F word at all.
I don't either.
Calling things gay was definitely like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay letting that one go too.
Now, that's the one I have a problem with.
Because I never thought about it in terms of a sexual identity thing,
But my problem is with the gay people on this. And this is why. There are some things that are gay things.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely have moments of like that. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
just a
gayest things
fact.
I've seen. Yeah.
It ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, you know,
That's the point we need to get to.
I
Is
definitely
where
rock some stuff myself.
we need to get to the point where you're not denying that there are certain things that are a part of you, and
I do.
and
I do think it's
I shouldn't care or try to demean you for it. That's what
again.
we
I
need
think
to get to.
I think it comes back to like the harm thing. It's like, is what I'm doing hurting another human being
I agree.
unnecessarily?
I
And like,
agree.
am I like intentionally like, kind of like punching down? Is like
Yes.
my position of privilege, authority, power, etc., being used? And I want to say used unfairly and unjustly because like I can't help the position I'm in, and I just want to be like have a little bit of room for nuance there to like punch
Well,
down, and
being
that's where
used
like
to
I
hurt. If it's
yeah
intention, if you're being used to hurt.
yeah. Now intent's also really hard. Like I've had people say to me like intent doesn't matter in the conversation. I'm like, what are you talking about? Intent
Well, of course
matters.
it does.
I think it does, but you
That
know,
was the
it's one of those.
stupidest thing ever said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought so too, but you know, an ex
Isn't
say
that
it to
like
That's
me.
all that. That's all that matters, really.
that's like
I
the
thought so.
foundation of
Well,
dialogue, ain't it?
I thought
Yeah.
so too, but it was funny to have it come for like my then really conservative Christian ex at the time, and then to have it come from somebody that was fellow member of the LGBTQ community. So it's, I don't know. I'm trying to stay curious and not and try to understand the nuances of it. And it's hard. Human interpersonal everything is. You know this. You're fucking married, man. It's complicated and nuanced and delicate. And we're dealing
Nope,
with
not me.
so much
Mine ain't
trauma and among
complicated.
them. Fucking Phil.
You talking about the dudes that go by forerunners.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Phil's got a
know.
Jeep.
I mean, something, you know, he is definitely
That's my
the
point.
leader in the queer overlanding community, as Sir
Y'all
William
can't let
goes.
y'all nuts hang.
Hey, you know,
Will lets his Will lets his nuts hang. He
He
definitely
ain't
does.
married.
He's married.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa. That's his
You didn't
wife?
know? You've never met Phil's partner or Will's
Lady
partner?
Christie.
I've
He's
met
Lady
he's
her,
Christie.
but I didn't
no,
know.
that's his girlfriend. His
Okay.
partner is
wow.
what's
that's
his
a
name?
big, that's a different
James. I think it's
wife.
James or Jimmy, something like that.
Yeah, wife is a big word to me. I didn't think he was
I
married.
don't know. It's his girlfriend. Yeah. Follow him on Instagram, TikTok,
Shout
and
out,
YouTube.
Sir William.
Sir William goes.
So I have tried to incite Josiah for at least an hour, and it's not working.
It's not working, Phil. You got to give up now.
What are you trying to get out of me, man?
I don't know.
He's just been trying to get off the call because he's got to go meet Zuckerberg on the yacht. And
Yeah, I got to go hang with Zuck on his yacht, and no, I'm not trying to get off the call. Once I was able to plug my laptop in, I was no longer worried about the battery dying, dude. I'm just trying to get the waiter to come over and give me another.
I mean, he's sitting.
Michelada.
Are you at the bar at Shaka's?
Yeah, dude.
I find it hard to believe that. Like, I mean, there's not a whole audience in the background laughing at this conversation.
Let me turn off the back. None. Let's see.
Oh,
Look, dude,
Mike,
there's a tree.
You're not observant. He's even had notes given to him during the show.
Oh yeah.
Man. I'm at Shaka's.
He's at Shaka's.
Shaka's. It's the headquarters of white people in the west side
Texas.
of
Where's the
California.
person that was handing you notes?
She wasn't handing me notes. She was handing me a beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brando's in the background giving him notes.
Brando's on the far side because Texas Tech and Oregon are playing, but maybe that game's over.
Yeah, I got you.
He's a big Texas Tech fan.
Josiah, close out the show for us.
Well, what I want to say is that, like, I have no idea if God exists, but if he does, I think he's really happy that Indiana is beating Alabama. Even though I'm not an Indiana fan, I'm a Michigan fan because the SEC is a garbage conference from a largely garbage part of the country.
Okay,
that should reflood.
I'm going to give you a
sea
hard
levels
one.
ride.
Are you a football dude, Josiah?
I definitely enjoy
soccer
football.
and basketball.
No, man, I'm fucking American, man. We love football, dude. What are you talking about?
Give me one good thing Donald Trump has done in office.
One good thing. Okay. I
Whoa. I want to
This is
set this
great.
up. Mike, you're going to ask the question again, and he's going to answer. But I want him to know before he answers, this is a clip. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Josiah. To end the podcast, what is one good thing that Donald Trump has done in office?
I think that his tweeting of Covfefe, Covfefe, is one of. I mean, he is. If you just turn off your brain a little bit, he's really entertaining. Like he's a funny man. He is funny as hell. Like little, like the man, like it's incredible.
He's legit
he's just
funny.
It's incredible. Like he's just brilliantly, stupidly offensive. Like when he said to that reporter and said "quiet piggy," like just the audacity to even think to say that to another human being. Like who thinks to do that? Like that's just staggering.
He's quick on his feet.
He's quickly stupid on his feet. Yeah. Like it's just he jumps to it so fast. And I mean, the mimicking of a blowjob on the microphone, like, I mean, it's just, the guy is just doing a tour de force of like 4th grade, 5th grade, juvenile, dumb, offensive, saying fag or gay or those words. It's amazing.
That is not, what did he do for America? That is one thing. He's got to have done something that was effective. Come on.
Wait, let me think.
Do you think the no taxes on tips was a good thing?
No.
Really?
I mean, pay your taxes, man. Like that's not the solution.
How about that? He largely solved the border issue that was out of control.
The border issue. I don't see that as.
He solved. Staggering numbers aren't coming in.
Give me a second. I'm chewing.
He kind of was instrumental in ending the Israel-Hamas situation.
How'd that work out?
He ended 22 wars in the Far East.
Are there even that many countries in the Middle East?
I don't know.
There's 23, and there's some of the best countries in the world now that I've brought peace.
And biggest.
Whoa, what happened? Josiah's frozen.
He froze. He's not even moving anymore.
All right, so let's end this clean. Mike, do you have anything you want to say?
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's been a pleasure to have Josiah on here, even though he probably can't hear us anymore. But, it's a good podcast. As always, hope you guys listened. I know it's a long one, but that's okay.
All right, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully we'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.